Yo, what's up?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Welcome everybody to the crossover. Friday, September 17th. That's right, Chris HOJ is live. As people come in, we have many questions today. Might be the most questions we've ever gotten. So let's get right to any announcements that we may have. Announcements. What do we got?
We are now officially sponsored, not by Truly, but by nice looking cardboards. So shout out to Matt. He messaged me this morning. He's like, "Hey, I hope you're home today. I've got something coming to the house." I was like, "Okay." And then a delivery woman arrived, saw a 12-pack of Truly, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's really nice, a 12-pack." And then she pulled out 2 more 12-packs. So I received 3 12-packs of Truly, which should tide me over for the show for a while. So thank you to Matt. Very kind gesture.
You said those might last you about 2 months, right?
I'm not an alcoholic, Chris. He's like, "That seems like a long time." Knowing you, it seems like a week was probably.
I did think that was a liberal estimate. Okay, we have a new card ladder feature, fractional ownership. Want to talk about that a little bit?
We have several new features this week. The first one is in your collection, you can now upload pictures of the back of your card. So starting there, and then if you have cards that you've added from the ladder, you can now use your own custom images as your image in the collection. Those were requested by a bunch of people. Finally got that done. The next is fractional ownership. That was requested this week. So you can now, you can set a percentage ownership of a card, and it will track that for your overall value, profit, and investment in your, in the top level statistics of your collection. And then we also added the ability to sort your collection by year, which a bunch of people have requested. They want to be able to, keep things organized by year when they're looking at it. They want to see the newest stuff at the top or the newest stuff in the bottom, depending on which sort direction. There's one more thing. Oh, the recent searches.
Yeah.
Recent search. So on the mobile app and on the web app, when you are first going to search something, it'll present you with your recent searches. So it saves your last 8 searches if you want to click on that to save some time without having to retype everything. It's more helpful in the mobile app, I've found, because it's kind of annoying to type stuff, especially when you looked it up and then you're going to show a friend or show someone else. It's nice to have those recent searches saved. And then we'll talk about. Do you want to talk about the index stuff later? I think you have a question for that.
Yep, there's a question for that.
Let's do that later.
Okay. So only 4 features this week? Jeez.
Yeah, I was tired this week.
Slab Savers says, I am a card ladder subscriber, but I need to utilize all the features though.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck indeed. And they're going to keep coming too. So try not to fall too far behind.
We're going for the shotgun approach. Someone's going to want one of these features. Every collector's going to want something in the app. And that's been a struggle for you and I, trying to get everyone to realize all the things we do have. Because, they're like, "I would have got it months ago if I knew you had that specific thing." And we're like, I know. So it's so many things.
Yes. Yes, Lucky Show points out backside picks. Nice. It is nice. I'm about to upload all my backside picks when Christina and I get home tomorrow. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, damn, that's 4 sweet features there. So we're going to keep them coming, guys, and thank you for the suggestions and the input as always. Okay. Do you have any mail days?
No, but I have a card next to me to drown my sorrows from last night's horrific events.
Don't talk about those events yet because we have 5 questions on them.
Well, then I don't have a mail day.
Okay, all right. Well, save it for them.
Yeah, I'll say that. You guys can probably already guess what it is.
I have an in-person day. It wasn't a mail day. I picked
Oh, yes.
up this. This is the 2017 Panini Rookies and Stars Crusade insert for McCaffrey. It's the black 1/1.
Of course.
Of course. And with this card, I think I have every 2017 Panini Rookies and Stars McCaffrey 1/1 that does not have a patch or an autograph, which is like 4. So picked this up in Vegas from That's the Old Price, who had just bought it at the show the earlier that day, and then we met him at Collectibles events that evening, and Christina is the one. So we were hanging out with the Whatnot guys. I told them I was into McCaffrey, and then they started talking to Rob, and then Rob was showing him his cards, and then he said, "Oh, look at this McCaffrey," and then I said, "Well, I hope it's probably going to be a lot of money." But Christina walked up to Rob and said, "How much do you want for it?" And he gave a great price, and the deal was done. So thank you, Rob, a.k.a. That's the Old Price. Is that good, Christina? Did I tell the story? Okay. She says, okay. All right.
All right. I see how it is tonight.
Oh, David. Okay. All right. Lots of questions. First question is
You
from
want to talk
Gowdy.
about the summit?
Oh, yeah. We got questions on the summit, too.
Cool.
We'll get to the summit. All right. Gowdy Gum says, thank you, David. David Marino in the chat of Collectible. Always great to see you, man. All right. Gowdy Gum says, any plans to introduce a sports-specific card ladder index?
Oh, that's good timing. We were talking about that today.
We were talking about that today.
Yeah, we've been talking about indexes that are not just for players and not just the CL50. We've been talking about expanding it, and I've been working on some ways that we can do that this week. And we did launch a slight change to the CL50 index. Do you want to go over that first, Chris? And then that'll kind of dovetail into the new stuff.
Yep, let's talk about that. So,
Sure.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
The CL50 index, we have shifted it to match the way that we calculate player index. And what I mean by that is they are now starting at 1,000. And then the CL50 index now goes back in time to all of our sales history. So it goes back to 2004 instead of just 2015. And it normalizes itself to 1,000, just like the player indexes do, and just like normal financial indexes do. That did cause a slight shift and increase in the overall index. So if you're used to the index being at 20,000, it's now at 30 because of this new change. But you can still, it's been adjusted full time, all time. So it'll still make sense if you look at it. Just if you've thought about it before and you remember that we were at 20 and now we're at 30, you're just gonna have to reset your brain. But going forward, this is gonna be the new way. This will allow us to add new cards to the index. It will allow us to remove cards from the index. It will allow us to be a little bit more flexible. So it's on basically it's on the new back-end platform that the player index is, which is new. It's upgraded from the CL50. So now they're all on the same platform. And because of that, the reason I said all that is now this allows us to do an index for literally anything, and they're all going to be on the same structure as CL50 and player. So we can do things like an index. I was telling Chris, we could do anything. We could do an index for PSA Kaboom cards or football Crusades. It could be very specific. It could even be more complicated than that. It could be PSA 10 and BGS 9.5, gem mint cards of the modern era. Maybe you wanted to see an index of 2010 and up gem mint cards. I'm just totally spitballing, but there's really endless possibilities for the use cases here, and I think we're onto something pretty sweet. The question is, which ones do we choose? Do we let people create their own indexes, which I think is the more interesting part, giving you a page to generate an index, whether that's generating the query to create the index or choosing the cards to put into the index for a very custom setup. I think there's a lot of value there because we've had a lot of interest in publications reaching out to us and wanting to use the index. I think if we let people create their own, it can be that much more powerful. And this is it's a cool technological advance that we've discovered this week. So I think I'm excited about it. And that the question of like, the question that you brought up that was asked is like, a sports index, which is basically the simplest index. We can do that one fairly easily. So we were kind of thinking about that while doing this, and it's like, hey, we could do an index for anything. Let's work on that. So that's where we are.
Totally. So one observation I have, all right, so this is the new CL50 index. Like Josh said, the value is now, look at this. I have a small screen now. Look at my giant hand. Okay. So the index value is now 30,347. It used to be 20,000, but you'll notice that the total index value is the same. That just is a function of the fact that now we're going back to 2004 and we normalize to a value of 1,000. Okay, but what's amazing about normalizing to 1,000, as Josh was pointing out, is that now everything is very easy to figure out growth. So, but the index, like we said, is at around 30,000 now. And so that means it's from 2004 until today, the card ladder index has gone up by 30x. Not a bad way to gauge the growth of this industry over the past 17 years. It's up 30x. But you know what's amazing? Josh and I were talking about this earlier. From 2004 to 2014, the index only went up 2x, or it increased 100%. 10 years. When guys like Bob M. Track and Spinatron were buying everything under the sun, and they were just doing it because they loved the cards, and they had no idea probably that this was going to happen to this industry. 2x, up 100%. Okay, 10 years, up 100%. But now here we are, up 3,000, or up 3,000%, or up 30x. So, pretty cool way to look at things.
Don't you just get goosebumps thinking about people buying stuff from 2004 to 2014? Like, just if you had just had the ability to somehow convince your past self to, like, buy cards at that time, how much fun it would be. But it wouldn't, the more I think about it, it's probably more fun today, because back then you'd be just kind of doing it by yourself, and it would be almost too easy. You'd just be buying everything. But thinking back on it now, it's like, man, that would be sweet to be able to buy all that stuff.
Patriot Sports Cards asks a great question that gets to the methodology of index construction. On the CL50, how do you normalize going back when certain cards don't exist in the beginning? So you use, so first of all, like, yeah, maybe only 30 of the 50 cards existed at that time. Yeah. So the index is only based on those 30 cards. When the 31st card gets added, that's going to cause a distortion in the data if you just plop it in. So instead what you do is you use a divisor. And what the divisor does is it allows the index to absorb that first sale of that new card without changing the index's value. So I don't want to go into the weeds of it too much. This isn't a class on constructing indexes, but look up divisors, look up the methodology of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or read the white paper that you can find on any of the card ladder card profiles. If you just right next to the CL value, here I'll show you how to get to it. Right next to the CL value, if you just click on this little arrow, just click this little arrow here next to the CL value. Just click that little arrow right there. That's going to take you to the white paper. I know. That's going to take you to a white paper that's going to explain the full methodology of the index construction. So, yeah, good question, though. Love that question. Okay. Do we want to say anything else about this?
No, I feel like we're boring people. It is pretty, like, nitty-gritty, but I think the outcome is that eventually we're going to let you explore indexes in a custom fashion. And because I've had a lot of people asking, like, hey, what's the Kaboom index look like right now? I would love to be able, I could do it on my machine, but I would love to be able to make something like that more powerful in the hands of all of our users. So that's something we're exploring right now.
Yes, Publius, it is based on price and not market cap. That's right. Yes. And the reason for that is because we don't know what the populations of these cards were 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's the main holdup there. Everyone in the chat's like, this is not boring. This is interesting.
I felt like I was rambling about indexes and,
That's our audience. I love our audience. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Tiger Jordan 311 says, does Card Ladder have any plans to add complete set tracking? So, for example, 86 Fleer basketball. Much appreciation. Loving my Card Ladder tracking via CL. So, like, the short answer is that cards that get voted to top of submissions are going to be the ones that get added first. And the longer term answer is that, like, just bear with us as we develop ways to scale more quickly, which we are actively working on right now. So, anything else to add on that?
We're exploring ways to add sets more efficiently and quickly, right? So, adding one card from 86 Fleer makes it easier to add the next one. So we are exploring ways to make that whole process a lot faster. And then to your point, we are looking into ways currently to greatly increase everything.
We are looking into ways to greatly increase everything is the mantra of the night. All right, Cards and Candy 911. He has the first non-Card Ladder feature question.
Good.
You want to guess what it's about?
There wasn't like a ton of big news. I don't know. You want me to hit like one of the main hobby drama news? Is it something like that?
It's something that everybody in the hobby can agree on, and we all can get a good laugh at this guy's expense. Okay.
Oh, Vegas Dave.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Cards and Candy 911 says Vegas Dave the Clown excited to show off his Derek Carr cards, even though he is Mr. The Card Market Will Crash. Anything you want to say about Vegas Dave? Dance on the grave of Vegas Dave a little bit here.
I thought it was really funny that he said, in 2 to 3 years, this whole thing's going to crash, but not until I pump all my shit and sell it to you first. Then it will crash after I'm completely out of my Derek Carr crap.
Yep. In fairness to Dave, he did set a longer time horizon for the card crash, but
that was my story. I was like, now I know why he set such a long horizon. He needs 2 years to dump that garbage. It's funny that we know exactly what he owns because he pumps everything. So he literally only owns Derek Carr cards right now. And that must be frustrating. So I feel for him.
All right. Moving on. Card Boss 713. What's up, Vic? He says, please discuss PWCC Premier Auction ending tomorrow. So the PWCC Premier Auction is ending tomorrow. There will be a live broadcast covering it on Sports Cards Live with Jeremy Lee. I always watch that. I encourage you to watch that as well. Is there anything you like on this auction or anything you want to talk about just for a minute or two?
I think it's a fantastic auction. The guys at PWCC have steadily upped the quantity and quality of the premier auctions. I think there's like 120 or something like that. I think that's the most they've had in a premier auction. A lot of cool stuff. I saw some really cool Pokemon cards. I know Vic has a card in there, the Jordan Exquisite. I saw some cool Kevin Durant stuff, awesome LeBron stuff, LeBron, Brady. I mean, the top two are football, which is interesting. There's some vintage. Yeah, the Brady's, what's the Brady at? 950. Everything seems to be a little bit low. I don't know if that's because people are waiting, auction style. They're just kind of waiting for the extended bidding to do their real bidding. We'll see. But definitely some good deals to be had in there. Some stuff is already setting record highs before we're even to the end. So good mixture of everything.
Yep, definitely. Got a couple of Brady Bowman Chrome refractors in there. You don't see those all that often. Nice mix of all the eras and genres. Just some pretty sweet cards as usual.
How people are like, you mentioned this a while back, and it was kind of interesting when you brought it up, that like it's funny that auction houses talk about their all-time sales highs and like how everything's selling for really high. That doesn't really draw buyers in. Buyers want to find the deals. So I feel like if the stuff hangs low until the end, it's going to generate more interest of people being active in the auctions and could actually propel it into higher prices. What do you think about that?
Totally agree, man. The auction houses should be marketing to sellers, and sellers are going to be attracted by record high prices. But man, they should be marketing to buyers too, who want a safe, secure experience and who want to get good prices. No buyer out there wants to overpay.
Yeah,
So this auction ends in 21 hours and 38 minutes. That's tomorrow night, guys. So we'll all be watching together via Sports Cards Live. All right, moving on. Another of the bigger topics this week, raised by two guys. I'm going to read both their questions. Slabs for Hayes says, LeBron RPA crossover unveiling and the potential ramifications thereof. And Matt's Mint Cards, thoughts on the LeBron crossover from BGS to PSA 10 when it wasn't even a true gem or a true gem plus. So take this one away. I'm going to pull up some pictures so people can see what we're talking about if they don't know already.
Yeah. You said you want me to speak on it?
Yeah, any thoughts you have?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't like form an opinion on whether I thought it should have bumped or not. I haven't looked over the card with a magnifying glass and, you know, a high powered light. Like, I know that the corners are 9s and people are kind of freaking out about that because generally if 9 corners don't cross. But my answer is that the PSA graders looked it over and they should be unbiased by the grade that's above, but they're obviously going to be biased by that. So I'm assuming they looked it over and it was in the boundaries of a 10, so they crossed it to a 10. I heard that they had multiple copies of a 9.5, and this is the only one that crossed. So it wasn't like they're just crossing everything over to a 10 for the marketing purposes. I was told this was like a fair review on multiple, and this is the one that made it. And there are 2 10 subs, so that's something to point out as well.
Yeah, 2 10 subs. Really cool backstory behind this card. Once was purchased by Andy, Fifth Down Sports Cards, Prism Gold. And it was a big deal at the time. Nobody believed that he paid $250,000 for it, even though he came and showed the receipts.
On eBay. Buy it now on eBay.
Buy it now on eBay. Oof. And, but, yep. And so that card has a cool history behind it. And now it's the only PSA 10 and the only PSA 10-10. Just, I mean, talk about the market for that card a little bit. Like, the only PSA 10-10. Justin 610 Sports Cards mentioned to me that the 0304 Exquisite Jordan Limited Logos, PSA 9 Auto 10, being the only one ever graded by PSA, did like over 700,000 in the last PSACC premiere. So like that Pop 1 exclusivity for a PSA Exquisite is like very desirable. So, I mean, this card is a market shifter, man. Like, this card is a big, big deal to have a PSA 10-10 of this card.
So what are your thoughts on them using this as like a launching point for their marketing of crossover?
Yeah, some people were a little bit upset about that because they didn't know that the crossover service was back. So maybe, you know, on the one hand, everybody damn sure knows it's back now. But people were a little bit upset because they thought, based on an announcement made in March, that the crossover service was not available. And now all of a sudden they find out that it is. And the way that they find out that it is that somebody probably just made $5 to $6 million on this card by crossing it from a 9.5 to a 10.
Well, he had to pay he probably had to pay a pretty decent upcharge.
I think upcharge is capped at 10,000, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow. Okay. Good investment then.
Yeah, so I might be wrong about that, but I think that's what PSA's website says or implies. So, yeah.
You're not going to give what's your opinion on it then?
You know, I'm not as bothered by it as other people are. And I'm trying to understand why it is bothersome. I know the point has been made that, like, there should be a clear delineation between the service of grading and the marketing of a grading service. So it does there is a hypothetical world where, like, PSA had an extra incentive to want this card to cross to become the only PSA 10 and the only PSA 10-10. It's just a Pop 1 on both pop counts for PSA 10 and 10-10. It's like there was some sort of incentive for PSA to cross this card over because it would be such a headline news event, and then that would become a marketing vessel for the crossover service. So, like, there might be some perverse incentives there, But you solve that by just making the grading process as blind as you can. I'm just not as worked up as other people are about it. I'd love to get into their shoes a bit more.
Right. Yeah, to your point, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be worked up about. I've heard people complain that there's stuff that never crosses when they're angry, and now something does cross when they're angry. So, I don't. If it crosses, that means it was worthy of a cross. If it doesn't, it wasn't. Usually, we've heard from Nat directly that usually the reason that it doesn't cross is because it's almost like it's actually exactly like in football when they make a call and they don't have enough to overturn it. It's the same in this scenario where like they're obscured by the actual slab itself, so they need enough evidence to prove that it is worthy of the crossover in the bump. And apparently in this case they had enough evidence to say, yeah, this is good, we're crossing it to a 10. And I will say good enough to cross to a 10. It doesn't need to be perfect to be a 10. Everyone needs to remember PSA has boundaries around what is a 10, and it's not always 50-50 centering. It's not absolutely pristine, perfect everything. It does allow for some imperfections. So it's possible the corners on the 9 were graded tough by BGS and they were within the boundaries of PSA. They crossed it. I don't know. I'm not a grader. I didn't look at it, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So let me give voice to a couple of comments from the chat. One person says, cash grab, rigged. Come on, guys. Don't be so naive. Stop sugarcoating. Another guy says, and I'm not reading names just because we don't know if PSA is listening, or I don't want anybody's name to be, we could speak freely here. Another guy says, when it doesn't become a PSA 10, it is Pop Control, the Pop Control monster. But now that it goes the other way, it's nefarious. Another guy says, there are definitely potential perverse motivations to cross it over to a 10-10. So there you go. There are people who are worked up about this. So.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it very well could be, something rigged, but I don't know that, so I'm not gonna speculate. I have no idea. To me, it looks like I have nothing other than to believe that it's a legit cross.
Cornerstone says, I really like that booth review analogy. It put it in terms that us sports stooges can understand.
I got you guys. That's exactly what it is. That was good. That was a fucking good analogy.
It was a good analogy. Oh, if it can be put into sports terms, we're all going to be able to get on the same page. All right. That's that topic. But look, I'll tell you something else. PSA is very Carvin says, what is this show called? Always a crossover and always will be the true crossover.
Of course, we're going to support the crossover on this one. What do you want us to do? We have to.
That was the real motive. It was all a promotion for our Friday night show. Okay.
They didn't even tag us.
What the fuck, right? Damn. Okay. Feel free to contact PSA about this and leave comments. And if you're very polite and respectful and terse and short and concise, send Nat a message. He's very receptive to hearing from the community. So, yeah. I mean, I know. But look, he said that as well. So I'm not just... He told
me his favorite thing is to answer questions on when you're getting your cards back. I know he loves getting those messages. So, if you've got some free time, shoot him a DM, ask about a status update on your order. He'll love that.
Or, yeah, it's raising awareness. Good. Look, I don't even think PSA minds anyway because it's more promotion for the service. I mean, I'm sure they mind on some level, but it is raising awareness. Look, I'm going to think more about this issue too and talk to some more people about this issue. And let's see if we can figure it out. Brady Collector, I don't know what that means, but if you're serious about that, send me a DM because I'm probably buying.
He pauses the show for a Christian McCaffrey card.
Lucky Show says secret menus are cool. Deal with it. I don't get it, but Christina is the master of secret menus.
I am.
Okay, next question. Shayway Vlog says, why are NFTs being pumped and marketed to card collectors?
I'm not answering that fucking question.
I think the question answers itself. I think the question answers itself there. Card collectors.
Because they need someone to pump it. They need someone to sell it to, right?
Yes, and we didn't get a single question about Probstein interviewing Shil Mastro. So let me just let me insert a small dovetail into that interview here. Mastro said one of the most interesting things Mastro said in that interview, and I'm not endorsing that interview. I don't think that interview should have happened personally. Just one man's opinion. But one of the most interesting things Mastro said was that when he was working at the auction house, and from what he's seen at other auction houses, when it comes to items like Americana and pop culture and historical items and political items and things of that nature, oftentimes the auction houses, as per their own terms and conditions, would bid on items and drive up prices to the bidder's ceiling price, because at that time it was totally normal for auction houses to be able to see that. So there's that point of view. And also art as well. He said that he has seen situations at Sotheby's where art guys put $1 million bids on art and they were bidding against nobody. It was only the auction house that was bidding against them, driving up the prices. Okay. But he said there's one category. There's one category of collectibles that did not need shilling, that did not need auction houses to prop it up, because the buyers and the bidders were so aggressive on their own. And that category was sports cards. Sports cards, he said he didn't even need to touch them because they already had so many aggressive bidders. In contrast to all those other categories, art, Americana, historical items, all of it. So I'm tying that back into this question because Shay wants to know, why are NFTs being marketed to card collectors? Easy, because card collectors are aggressive, passionate, dedicated, loyal, enduring buyers of items. They are you sports card collectors who are in this audience. You are the most targeted demographic. Top Shot wanted you so bad. NFT guys want you so bad. Okay, that's why, because you are the gold standard in collectible items. You are the ideal buyer. That's why.
That is exactly right. That's a great point.
So, also, can we just talk about the Probstein thing for a little bit? I just want to say one thing on that interview. And I love seeing Probstein on Instagram, by the way. Great content. And I'm so glad he's on here. And I thank him because anytime Card Ladder reaches out and asks him if an item was paid, he's very quick to reply. Super appreciate that. But everything in this hobby that's done publicly, I filter it through a very simple litmus test. Is it good for the hobby or is it not good for the hobby? And Bill Mastro coming back into the hobby, as far as I can tell, on balance, is not good for the hobby. It's not a good association. It's just like, I'm going to borrow this metaphor from a friend on Clubhouse. He says it's just like if somebody's a banker, or I'm sorry, if somebody is forging currency and goes to federal prison for forging currency. When they get out, they have paid their debt to society, and they have the whole world at their feet, and they can do whatever they want. But no bank is going to hire them. No bank is going to employ that person because of their past history. But I think you can make exceptions. So if that person who is forging currency can use their expertise to identify other currency forgers, and they really make a show and a commitment that they can contribute and make the community a better place rather than serve their own interests, if you make that the forefront of your contribution, there might be a place for that particular need to be filled. And so this isn't about retribution or second chances, because everybody deserves those. This is about something bigger than any one person. This is about the integrity of a community and an industry. So filtering it through that lens, I was not convinced that Mr. Mastro is interested in coming back to the hobby. He didn't convince me that he's trying to make this a better place. He convinced me that he wants to keep on collecting cards, which I empathize with that. But to me, he should do that very quietly, and he should not be making a bunch of noise. That's just one man's opinion. Open to being proven wrong about that, but here's how I would accept it: if he showed that he has the ability to make the community a better place on balance.
Yeah, he kind of hinted that he wants to come back in and potentially be involved in the business side of the hobby again, which is the exact opposite of what you just described. By the way, great job describing the plot of Catch Me If You Can. You ever seen that film? You described it very well. Well, people were mad that we're not. Some people were mad that we're not, calling for a rigged game on the PSA Cross and stuff like that. Well, when I have actual, you know, evidence here of someone doing something wrong and the FBI catches them and they go to prison, I will make an opinion on that. This person is not good for the hobby unless, to your point, they're going to do something to prove that they're going to use that knowledge and value to increase the hobby instead of jumping back in and trying to make personal gain out of it, which is what's happened before. I will make an opinion about that, right? This person's gone to prison. Sure, they have the right to come back and be a part of society, but I don't really want them involved in the hobby that they sought to strictly profit from and defraud. So we have proof this person defrauded the hobby, so I don't really want them to be a part of it, and I don't really think we should be giving them a platform and propping them up as some sort of legend in the hobby. They're legendary in a very negative way, if you want to say that. Frustrating for sure. Hopefully, the positive spin on it is that we learn from the mistakes he made, right, as a community, and figure out how not to make it happen again, or how to, like you said, how to, educate ourselves on how to stop it going forward. So that's the positive spin, I guess. I don't know, man. Very frustrating.
It is frustrating. It is definitely frustrating. And so I think maybe to make something like explicitly clear, it's a very bad look for the industry that its most prominent auction house for a period of multiple years was then exposed as committing serious amounts of fraud. It was then pleaded to and admitted to in federal court, and then a 20-month, I think it was 20 months, a 20-month federal prison sentence was served. That's a very bad association for our industry, a terrible one. It makes us all look bad by association. Whether that's fair is a different question, but that's the outcome. That's the big worry here. The other worry is that we would be rewarding or laying down for bad behavior. Okay, so the burden at this point in time is on him, not on us. Okay, if it's just anybody who has not done anything wrong, then they have the presumption is that they have a place in this community. But when it goes the other way and somebody shows you that they're willing to defraud you and deceive you and steal money from you, and they do it through lies and deceit, in that situation, then if they want to be able to come back, the burden is on them to prove to us as a community that they deserve to come back. And that's where we're at right now. And that proof was not shown in that interview. That's just my opinion.
I agree with JJJ Gambino's comment about how he seemed very unremorseful. And the part that got him talking the most was when he was talking about how everyone was excited to see him at National. Like, he was excited to be back in the spotlight and have people excited to see him. And it's like, man, it just felt very slimy, the whole vibe of like, I don't know. Just didn't seem like a very genuine comeback of like, I'm here to right my wrongs. I'm here to improve the community that I left in a bad spot. I'm here to, like, anything. None of that. It was just about like, how, everyone else was doing it. It wasn't that bad. I was only doing it for a short amount of time. He sounded like freaking the guys who get caught in baseball with steroids, who like admit to like, I only did it one time, and basically like everyone was doing steroids at that time. Not a big deal. Who cares? Freaking Sotheby's still does it. A-Rod and Barry Bonds did it. Who cares? I don't know. It just didn't seem very genuine.
Yeah, no, totally. Last point I want to address here, which is a fair one from Sweat 47. Pretty sure, just like in your bank analogy, that no one is hiring him for any significant role in the hobby. And some others have pointed out that, he just wants to collect. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. It turns out that he had been quietly collecting for a long time recently, and that he even went to the National. I didn't know he was at the National. So he was privately conducting his life. But it became different when he was marketed as a hobby legend, who then
Yeah.
went on the platform of eBay's biggest seller, literally eBay's biggest seller. Then that's when I started to get nervous, and for our industry and for what we stand for and for what our standards are. So I just wanted to address that point.
Well, we can make the positive spin ourselves. We can be the ones to say, this is what happened, give you guys the history on it, make sure you're aware of who he is, and if you understand what he did and educate yourself on what happened, then we can look for those same kind of signs going forward and potentially make some positive out of it. That's how I'll end it.
No doubt. The chat is adding. The chat is adding some much needed levity to this topic. Yeah. Also,
we had to be serious. We had to be serious, Chris. We can't. This isn't something that you and I have the luxury to joke about. You know what I mean? And I'm glad the chat is jumping in. I'm glad we can make it fun after. But it is important that you and I take this serious, at least for the first part here.
Okay. One other point that was raised by our buddy Rodman. He said, we have seen plenty of shill bidders and trimmers pardoned by the community. The only difference between them and Mastro is the jail time. Two wrongs don't make a right, sir. So if we pardoned people, we should not pardon anybody who is defrauding people through deceit, deception, and lies. So we should just not do that, period. We should have a zero tolerance policy for people who are trying to defraud us. I think we can all agree on that one.
And we already know that like the FBI is in the hobby right now, like investigating stuff. So when they find stuff, if they do, and they tell us about it, and someone gets in trouble for it, at that point, you and I are going to form an opinion on that person and do the same thing we're doing right now.
No doubt. No doubt. But there is. I want to acknowledge, though, there is merit to the point that there is a level of hypocrisy in that because Mastro was explicitly sentenced he pled in federal courts that, he's being treated more harshly than others who have done the same thing, but skated. And there is a level of truth to that. And we need to increase but the solution is not to like go soft on Mastro because we were soft on others. The solution is to tighten up our standard and to increase and tighten up our standard. That's what I think. So, all right. Anything else on this one?
Nope. Please change the subject.
All right, I'm gonna call on Cards and Candy 9. The only trimmer I use is Manscaped. Okay, I'm gonna call on Cards and Candy 911 to shift topics here to something much lighter. He says, "Can we get your thoughts on the current state of the markets?"
Are you serious? Cards and Candy, you're a legend, my friend. What is that question? Does he think it's going up?
Well, I'll tell you that over the last 30 days, the Card Ladder 50 is up 7%.
Ah,
that's pretty good.
That is good. No, but seriously, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just gonna speak on the fact that like the NFL is ramping up and NBA is coming back, so like I'm just gonna sense more. And you point out the data, so those two things are really the only things I have to go off of. People are a lot more excited. I don't know. I always say that people are always excited about this hobby, and it'll continue to keep getting more excitable over the next few months with the NBA coming up.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm loving football cards right now, by the way. So I don't know, how that relates to the overall state of the market, but man, I'm having a lot of fun. I think that's the best indicator to look at anyway. Like we can look at numbers and data, and that matters quite a bit. But how about this? Take your own pulse. Are you having fun? Are you picking up cards that you like? Sure. Well, that I make that point because that's going to lead into the next question. So we have a series of questions. I'm not going to read them together because they're all a little bit different. We have a series of questions for Josh. Mitten State Collector wants to know, I would love to hear more from Josh about how he keeps his PC so tight. If I remember correctly, Josh had previously said he has only maybe 30 cards in his collection, and I'd love to hear more about if he has a number of cards he wants to keep or how he determines what the size of his collection would be, and if that number has gone up now that he is focusing on Penny Hardaway. This requires a lot of discipline, so any advice on how to stay focused would be helpful. Thanks.
I feel like I answer this like once a week, but I guess I'll answer it again. It's mostly just because it's mostly just like my personality type. I just like things organized and minimal. I don't like a lot of clutter and things in my life, so it's just more of like a personality thing. I don't like having a lot of cards. I like having a few. And in general, like I just get more joy out of like one really sick, fucking really nice card than I would 10 or even 100 cards that add up to that same value. That's usually the hardest part for people is like they can get to those cards. Like let's say they want to get to $1,000 card, they can get there. They just have to make a tough choice on selling other stuff, and that's usually the part where like people would just rather not make that decision. So I think it's a matter of like having confidence to make the decision to go for it, kind of thing. Like maybe sell off a couple things that you were feeling like you never thought you would, just to get the confidence and know that you're not going to die when you sell something. So maybe just start there, sell something small, send it to auction. You know, a lot of people think you have to like have this huge following or influence to like post on Instagram and make a lot of money and, you know, like sell at the peak. You know what I'm talking about, Chris? Like people feel like they've got to sell at the top or wait for the perfect moment to sell. Just send it to an auction. Send it to a consignor. If you don't want to auction it yourself, send it to Warp. You know, he'll take care of you on eBay and he'll do a great job getting you, you know, fair prices on auction. And so just send it to auction, close your eyes, you know, Wharf will send you the money and you can figure out what to do next.
Awesome. Okay. Next question. RV sports cards. I hope it's not too soon to bring up a question relating to Josh's post about missing out on some Penny Hardaways.
Ugh.
His results can probably be relatable to a lot of collectors. I find myself doing a fair amount of research when a card I really want pops up and it doesn't have any recent sales, including searching Card Ladder for similar cards from the set or player. Once I have done that and place a last-second bid at or above what I thought the card would sell for, I still seem to lose the auction more than I would like to admit. Do you guys find yourselves having the same problem, or do you have any tips to get a more accurate price on what a rare card might sell for?
Man, I was like waiting for those auctions last night. For those who don't know, there was a bunch of Penny Hardaway auctions ending last night. I was interested in a bunch of the cards. I needed them wanted them for my PC, not needed.
What were some of the cards, Josh?
Well, the big one was the Ultra Stars Gold. I even I brought it up on this show explicitly saying I wanted one. And Playmakers Theater, Super Rave, Diamond Dimensions. There's a bunch. And I did my research on Card Ladder. I was figuring out like what I thought they generally were going to go for. I went 25% over those, what I thought it was going to be, my snipes, and I got fucking clobbered. I lost every auction. Like I definitely understand the frustration of losing an auction. It's horribly annoying. And that's generally why like auctions do very well, because it's a competitive thing. Like people were bidding on auction prices higher than like some of the best offer cards that I've seen very recently. So like the auction really drives like the anxiety for people to want to win the auction. So I forget what the initial question was. Like there's not really like a specific answer to like, just bid more, honestly. Like the only way, you just have to like bid more than the next highest person. I will add though that is that's a very fine line, Chris, to just say like, just bid more, because you don't know. I'm not saying that the auctions I was bidding on were like shilled or anything, but you never know who's on the other end of the bids and whether it's a genuine bid from the other person. You can only control what you bid. So like make sure that you're only bidding up to what you're comfortable spending. Like assume you're going to win, right? Assume you're going to win the auction. Are you okay spending that amount of, assume you're going to win the auction at your highest bid, to clarify. So be ready to spend that full amount of money. And if you're not comfortable, then don't bid any higher. I had to just kind of swallow this. I put in the bids that I was comfortable with and I lost. I don't like to lose, but I pretty much went to my max of what I thought was fair. I was the underbidder on the Ultra Stars Gold. I don't know. If I wasn't there, the guy in first place would have got it for, probably less than $4,000, but that's just the way it goes, man.
That's a sweet card, isn't it?
Fuck you.
Well, I think there we go. That's
You ever seen one of those, Chris? Do you have any of these guys or no? He's got a similar pose to this other player. God, what's his name? Do you know what I'm talking about? I think it's Michael Jordan. You ever heard of him?
Actually, one less Jordan than Penny on those cards.
Christina says there's more Ghost Penny Hardaways than there are Ghost Michael Jordans in the design.
More is better, right?
I think so. Except when it comes to the prices that people are willing to pay on the cards we want.
It's like if someone offered me that Ultra Stars Gold at $5,400, the winning price, I guess I'd probably pay it. But like, you got to draw the line somewhere. How do you do that, Chris? How do you what's your limit of like where you stop at an auction?
I asked Josh what he thinks it's worth, and he's usually accurate.
Actually, half of Instagram.
yeah. And then I double that price and I pay that, and then I'm good.
What happens when you lose?
Like when when I make my bounty, it's gonna be like the number you said times 1.5.
You definitely overpay. I will say you're like not afraid to overpay.
I freaking overpay like there's no tomorrow. So
it's hard on auctions though because you just have no idea. You don't know what it's going to go for. You don't know who else is involved. You're just sort of shooting in the dark, and it's like you don't want to bid like infinite money because someone else might do the same thing, and you're really screwed, right?
Right, no doubt. Well, it looks like one of these got relisted.
That was the one that I thought was like semi-fairly priced, but whatever. Can you keep an eye on that, I guess?
Rodman, you want to know why I never ask you, bud? Because you're a threat.
Yeah, you don't want to alert him to the auction, dude.
You are a freaking threat. I can ask Josh because Josh lives in the data, and Josh, it usually isn't after the same one as me.
Do we own any of the same card? That's a serious question.
No. Well, sort of. I mean, we own the same sets. We own some.
No. Same
no,
card.
Not the same card. I don't think there's any card overlap.
That's crazy. That's kind of cool.
It is cool, but we definitely have a lot of like cards in common, like Contenders Cracked Ices and Prism Golds and NTRPAs and 90s Grails and stuff like that. So yeah, so the card went for $4,300. It's been relisted. None of the other ones have been relisted, I don't think. So
that's the fucking shit. Just go to the next question.
Okay, we're not done with these though. The penny.
Find me an Ultra Stars Gold, and I will whoever has an Ultra Stars Gold Penny Hardaway, please reach out to me. I will pay you. You can use the last comp against me. I don't care. I just really want one.
Josh already told you what he was willing to bid.
I was willing to bid $100 less than the winning bid, and you'll save on eBay fees or whatever, or My Slabs fees. Just fucking sell me that thing. Profiles 3 got relisted as well.
Oh, good to know.
I thought that one was insane. It was like a BGS 7.5, 1 out of 100, Diamond Dimensions. Oh, Profiles 3. Sorry, wrong one. The PSA 9. Okay, that one. Yeah, okay. Can't wait to get all my pennies. Yeah, Grant messaged me last night. He's like, dude, you won't believe it, but I won every single one of those pennies.
This is your friendship right there.
Who needs enemies in this hobby? All right. Well, at least 2 of them got relisted.
But not the Ultra Stars Gold. Fucking the winning bidder was like 39 feedback. I was like, come on. Do you even buy cards, bro?
What do you mean? A new guy going straight to 90s Penny Hardaway Grails.
You want to talk about that? Like how Penny Hardaway cards are going insane? Like it doesn't make any sense.
How about the very next question is this? From Ben the Card Guy. Why are Penny Hardaway's rare 90s cards so expensive compared to other Hall of Famers?
I have no fucking clue. His stuff's more expensive than Kevin Garnett. Is this my fault? That's a legit question. Is this my fault? Like people think that I'm like somehow giving you advice to buy Penny Hardaway cards. I've never ever twisted the words of making it seem like you should be buying Penny Hardaway cards. It makes no sense. He's not a good investment. He's like not even going to make the Hall of Fame. It doesn't make any sense. Or does this just prove our theory that like collectors don't care about investment advice and they just want to buy the cards of their players they like, and they just they want them. They just want to buy them. They want to bid. They want to win.
Yeah, or maybe guys out there are looking for players that they don't have to worry about being hyped and pumped and dumped. Like, look, think about this, man. A lot of people like got screwed when the market went ballistic in February and March. Collectors got screwed. I know people like who always thought, like I think about this way when it comes to 86 Fleer. I'm like, I'm not interested in buying this card right now. It'll always be there. It'll always be available. So like, but then when that card started going ballistic, I think even collectors who still needed to add that card got FOMO. They paid too much money. The card's value came way down. And so like collectors aren't used to like having to play in markets that are super dynamic and that are being heavily influenced by investors who are coming in and trying to sell high and buy low. So like all of a sudden I think collectors now, like there's a premium on players that aren't going to get pumped and dumped. There's actually a premium on those type of players. Like, I think there's people out there who are actively looking for players who they see other people having a ton of fun collecting those players, and they know that there's never a risk that that player's going to be overhyped or that they're going to lose a bunch of money by buying that player's card.
Yeah. And Carvin brings up a great point. Like, there's a reason that I like Penny Hardaway so much, and it's that when I was a kid, he was marketed like a ton. Not quite on the level of Michael Jordan, but he was second. He was the second most marketed player back then. And so there's a reason I have a ton of nostalgia for him, because I saw him a lot on commercials. I had his like Orlando Magic locker. I had posters all over I was a Suns fan, and I had Orlando Magic stuff all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Just because I liked Penny Hardaway so much. I had his jerseys, his shoes, everything, right? Lil Penny, and like he was definitely an icon for a while. He's kind of like he kind of reminds me of like Derrick Rose today, where like you knew that they were going to be really, really good, and like just injuries kind of derailed things, but they still kind of remained very popular and very marketed because of like how they are as people. Like they're very magnetic in their personality. So those two are very similar to me. Kind of like how Iverson and Westbrook are parallels. I feel like Penny Hardaway and Derrick Rose are similar.
No doubt.
There's gonna be a lot of Derrick Rose collectors in 15, 20 years. I'm just calling it now, because there's so many people that collected Derrick Rose because of how exciting he was and how marketed he was. And I know that people in China and Asia fucking are obsessed with Derrick Rose. Obsessed.
Yeah, no doubt.
Stop pumping Penny. I feel like I never talk about Penny Hardaway other than like when I'm forced into a corner of talking about my own PT. But tell me if I'm wrong.
Nah, I don't think that's wrong. Also, the market moves in unison. The market moves in unison here. So it's not like Penny's prices are super anomalous. Lots of 90 stuff is going up. A freaking Tim Duncan base card from Ultra. Let me just so we can put this into context here, because we were looking at Penny Grails selling for $4, $5, $6, $8 right? Like that's what we were seeing. Okay, well let me show you a little sale from this this little Instagram page that I follow. Some of you guys might follow it too. Let me show you this little sale here. 1997 Ultra Tim Duncan base sold for $6,000. A freaking Tim Duncan base rookie from Ultra. Pop 17. Okay, Pop 17. So, look, it's a badass card, right? But $6,000. Okay, so just saying.
You and I talk about players in this sort of area a lot on the show, and it's on the same sort of topic of like guys that aren't, investment grade players, or they're not hyped young guys, right? They're not like overly hyped prospects. They're sort of like popular. They have a history of being very good at the sport, but they're just like a couple steps below that super upper echelon. And it's like Tim Duncan, Aaron Rodgers, Kevin Garnett, Westbrook. I'm struggling to think of like a lot of names, but you know what I mean? Like this sort of range. And these guys are really collectible. And not only are they collectible, they're collected. There's a lot of collectors out there who like these players, who have grown up with them, quite frankly, like people that are younger and they watch them play and they dominate their sport. Tim Duncan has 5 fucking NBA championships, dude. You don't think someone out there likes Tim Duncan? Of course they do. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Westbrook, these guys have fans. They've got people who want to collect their cards, whether they are, you know, their future prospect for a championship is high or not. They're still very popular individuals who are highly collectible. Dirk Nowitzki, Dennis Rodman, these guys, Allen Iverson, so many names.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it. I mean, my top 5 card, I just want to acknowledge his question, but you just kind of answered it preemptively. He goes, could you give an analysis on Tim Duncan, Penny Hardaway, and Grant Hill cards, especially their 90s super rare cards? I think you just kind of touched on that. Is there anything else you want to add, just kind of what's going on with some of these memorable, iconic players from the 90s and their super rare cards?
Sure. I mean, it's the best era of sports cards ever, and I don't really leave much wiggle room for that discussion. It's just like, you know, it was at a time post junk wax era where it was just pure creativity and it was less money driven, and it was just focused on making the best looking cards possible. And there was a lot of competition at the time, so I just definitely feel that like Fleer and Skybox and some of these companies, but you know, Jean Arena, shout out to her and her husband Earl. They're just amazing cards, and they're really popular players. And the 90s is a very nostalgic era. A lot of people want to relive the 90s, and we're getting into this era where you and I and people our age are wanting to capture the 90s era. And honestly, like 90s cards, I can't think of a better way to like relive your own childhood nostalgia than to buy basketball cards from the 90s, especially the late 90s. You can't beat it. And when you get that stuff in your hand, you're like, you almost get addicted. There's a couple people that have like messaged me and probably you as well of like, you know, hey, I've been mostly collecting the newer stuff, but I noticed there's a couple of 90s cards that have caught my eye, and they'll start buying them, and then all of a sudden like they're just pure 90s collectors only. It happens because it's a very like addicting, nostalgic era of cards.
Not just
And
basketball either, right? Like baseball, football,
Totally.
basketball. All those cards are mostly made by the same people, and they're fantastic.
And it's like I said earlier, people are wanting to find stuff that's not ridiculously overpriced. Like, who wants to pay $6,000 for a Luka PSA 10 silver when there's like fucking so many of them? People want to find stuff that's more connected to them and less about like the investment. So they're like, who was my favorite player at that time? You can pick one, and if it's not Michael Jordan, chances are you're going to be able to acquire some really cool stuff. You know, yours is Olajuwon. You could build a fucking amazing 90s Olajuwon collection if you wanted.
Totally. Yeah. Yep. But you know, there is these what we see as inefficiencies are being slowly reconciled to the price of modern cards. Like, dude, Ken Griffey collecting has picked up. Like Ken Griffey cards, Barry Sanders, like some of those great iconic players who were super cheap for a long time are now coming up. So like, I want to shout out my guy Paul, corner taken quickly, for mentioning this guy Joey Peapod. He's just got a ridiculous Ken Griffey collection.
He's the one that suggested the back images, by the way.
No shit. Well, shout out to him, man.
I was working with him on that feature.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, this guy was brought up on Clubhouse tonight by Paul, and then Jeremy Lee chimed in that like he just goes and looks at this page and drools and salivates once every couple weeks. And dude, this guy's just got a museum of Griffey cards, and like Griffey is just one example of a player. Like, look, he's got all the great 90s cards, man. Griffey's in all those sets, and he's got Prism Golds. He's got, I mean, there's just brilliance. I mean,
look at that pose on that brilliance. Clicked on that one. He's got like the The famous like Griffey, one hand swing thing. Oh, that's great. Jesus Christ, PSA 10. Holy shit.
This guy's collection is insane, man. Absolutely insane.
So like, what do you say to someone then who's like, yeah, I also love Griffey, but I can't collect him anymore because the prices are so. What do you say to that person? Because the person who comes to me and says, I also love Penny Hardaway, but I don't have $8,000 to spend on a freaking Playmaker Theater. What do you say to that?
The account is called Joey_Peapod. Joey_Peapod. Okay. What I say to that is I can't buy any more Michael Jordan grails. So we adapt and we move on. Let me tell you something. Spinatron, Bob M. Track, those guys were collecting and acquiring these grails 15, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when nobody believed in them like the way people believe in them right now. So maybe you pick a different player or you find something else that is meaningful to you. And yeah, maybe it's not the star of the ball. What's the metaphor I'm looking for? Maybe
Bell of the ball?
Bell of the ball. Maybe it's not the bell of the ball today. But you know what? PMG Green Michael Jordans sold for $5,000 in 2007. $5,000. Okay, so maybe that card was not the bell of the ball. So look, you find something else. It's tough. It's unfortunate. But look, we're all going through it. It's not any one person in particular. I haven't bought a Luka card in forever. We bought one Luka card this year, his Immaculate RPA, and that was a killer because it was so expensive. Just you move on. You find another lane to collect. You know what? I've found a new lane, and it's a freaking blast, man. So look, they're the greatest collectors in our hobby just believed in stuff when there was no market to back it up. When there was no prospect of a 10x upside over 1 year, they still were collecting this stuff. So you got to put yourself in that mindset and go out there and just collect stuff that you love, that you believe in, and that's reasonable and that's in your budget. That's what I say.
The other piece of advice that I want to piggyback off of yours is that you also might have to wait a long time. The market from 2004 to 2014 on Michael Jordan and LeBron James and like all these blue chip cards only 2x'd over 10 years. So like, it's not even that you might have to wait a really long time for it to catch on. In the case of people who collected Penny Hardaway in 1998, they had to wait fucking 24 years to get to 2001, where people finally, I hate that phrase of like finally getting the love they deserve. I hate that shit. But Penny Hardaway is getting love and respect now in the card world because people, like I said, people are my age, and they had to wait 20 years for kids who loved him at that age. So if there's a kid today who loves a certain player, it might take him 20, 30 years to get to a point where a lot of people are wanting to buy that player's card. So you have to have a lot of patience as well.
Totally, man. Look, I want to highlight what Upstate Sports Card said. He said, look at Brady refractors 5 years ago. They were dirt cheap. Dude, Tom Brady's market went up 8x over the last year. And you know what? There's going to be somebody else, I would suspect, whose market will 8x between now and a year from now. If that's
who is that?
I think we all know who it is.
Christian McCaffrey.
I was going to say Penny Hardaway.
Oh God! Please no.
McCaffrey and Penny Hardaway.
No, damn it! Just maybe like in 5 years do that. Like, give me some more time to pick these things up.
And dude, there's so much opportunity out there. There's so many players that that actually are freaking amazing players who characterized an era who just are under the radar right now. So you got to think hard about it. And think like Hakeem Olajuwon, to me, that's a fantastic one. If I was looking for somebody to collect right now, that'd be my guy. I loved watching him play. I wanted to be Hakeem Olajuwon on the basketball floor. So,
good luck with that. You're stupid. I wanted to beat Michael Jordan in basketball. Okay.
It almost worked out too. Just was.
You were almost 7 feet tall, but God.
Just a foot too short.
You wanted to beat Olajuwon in bat? That was your dream?
That was my dream. until I was at least like 11.
How do you think your childhood version of yourself would think of you now that you look at data at 2 a.m. and click on pending sales?
My childhood version was a bit, wow, you're still doing the same thing, huh? Still doing the same thing as me? I'm 11 and I can do this.
I don't know, but can he speak as eloquently as the current version of you?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I did make like my own. I used to write my own Beckett magazines with price guides. So I'm literally doing the same
There
thing
you
at
go.
11.
I think we need to play basketball.
Oh, we can play basketball. I haven't played basketball since before the quarantine, which is odd. I usually play a lot, but
How good are you?
I'm okay. I'm moderate.
Tell the story about the kid.
My NBA comp. I've told you this before. I'm like a broke man's Boris Diaw.
Oh, okay. Slow but effective.
Slow but effective. You know, slow but a contributor to a championship team.
Okay. My comp is Reggie Miller, so get ready for some threes raining down on you. And a lot of bony elbows.
Christina, what were you saying?
I was going to tell a story about the kid who punched the ball because you were making all those threes.
Nah, no thanks. I've got lots of stories from the playground days. I've broken somebody's nose. Lots
Jesus
of things.
Christ.
Like not on purpose. It was just stray elbow.
Well, I would hope not. Maybe we shouldn't play that. You're going to break my nose? I don't want to do that. I like my nose.
So wait till I hit 40. Yeah, I think if I played basketball right now, I'd need an ice bath afterwards.
We should play, though. That'd be fun.
Hey, Card Collected 82 says, I got the ultimate Boris Diaw collection.
I was waiting for that 20-year nostalgia hit for Boris Diaw.
All right, let me move on. But this was the topic that like taps into this week. All right, we have 3 questions on Vegas. Mostly Nines basketball card says, when is the 4-part documentary about the industry summit coming out? Unfortunately, it's not. But you should watch the one on the National if you haven't seen it yet. Jordan Hudson says, what is the biggest takeaway from the summit? And Bear Down Boiler wants to know, what was the biggest news to come out of the summit? So I'll say a few things about the summit. Josh, like jump in if you have a question or you want to prompt something.
I'm just going to get drunk.
Yeah, just get drunk. So first of all,
I got a lot of beer.
You got to make it last though. So Vegas is a great destination for a card show. I'm just going to say, or a summit and a card show. There's another Vegas card show like next month. I'm not going to be there. There's the Mints Collective at the end of January. We will be there. These are all in Vegas. And then the West Coast National is happening in March, and that'll be in Vegas too. Vegas is awesome. We watched the Bears-Rams game at the Sportsbook at the Westgate, which is like 8 giant movie theater screens. It was amazing. Highly recommend checking out the Sportsbook at Westgate. Okay, some stuff that came out of the summit. Panini, their whole presentation during their slot was strictly about UFC. They did not talk about basketball. They did not talk about football. They did not talk about baseball. They talked about UFC. They brought out Jorge Masvidal, who they also had with them at the National. And then they brought out the guy who snapped Conor McGregor's leg and beat him in a TKO in his last fight. Dustin Poirier was there as well. Those guys are excellent spokespeople for the hobby. When Masvidal was asked why he likes the hobby, he owns a card shop, first of all, which is cool. And then second of all, he said what he likes about the hobby, he likes finding undervalued or underrated players who have not yet blown up and buying a bunch of their cards. He likes prospecting.
Oh, yeah.
And then
he's also the scariest human on the planet.
And then Poirier, also there's a hilarious video of him throwing Tim from Slab Strong, of him just throwing his Slab Strongs into the ground violently. You should watch that. And then Poirier said, you know what he likes about cards? He likes cards that capture a moment in time, whether it's through memorabilia or through a photograph. That's what he likes. So those guys, very good spokespeople for the hobby. I was very impressed with them. Panini, really pushing UFC. Their point of view is that combat sports are, have been around as long as human history. There's something very natural about them that all cultures can gravitate to. Panini is very strong in UFC. Okay.
I wonder why.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. So
They're
Panini,
going to be making a lot of UFC cards in about 4 years.
no doubt, or maybe not. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can happen. Josh Luber was on a panel with Ken Golden, DJ Ski, and Dan Fleischman. It was called an influencers panel, but really it was just these guys talking about how much they love the hobby, which I could listen to for hours. Josh, in a very classy fashion, before the panel started, said, let me just take 2 minutes and sort of address the elephants in the room. Basically, he said, I can't really confirm anything, but rest assured that to the extent that anything is in doubt, it's in good hands. It was good for him to address that and speak on that. It was very thoughtfully and artfully done. The panel itself was terrific. Luber made this excellent observation that one of the reasons why he loves sports cards as an industry is because it blends these 4 things together. It has a gambling component, it has a finance component, it has a commerce marketplace component, and it has a culture component. And he's like, he can't think of any other good or collectible that really checks all 4 boxes the same way that sports cards do. So I loved his pitch of the hobby. I could totally see the entire industry rallying behind it, the way he articulated it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to jump in that, like, people are like a little bit worried, and that's why he addressed it probably. Like, are you going to change the way, physical cards are made? Are you going to change the way we see the hobby? Those companies will be so foolish to change because we have like 100 years of proof that people fucking really want sports cards in the format that they currently exist. So it would be in their best interest to make that better, not completely change it. That was all.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like on that topic, at several points it was addressed like card shops are important. They're the lifeblood of this industry. There's a lot of respect and reverence for the traditions in place. All the right things were said, quite honestly. And then hearing from Ken, who is just a fantastic spokesperson for the hobby and always knows how to find that positive angle. Hearing from Dan Fleischman and DJ Ski, who, like, these guys are so all in on this industry. These guys are all the way in, and they love it. Fleischman said he has dozens, I don't remember the number, dozens of businesses that have revenue streams anywhere from 12 to 60 million. His favorite business is his card shop. He just loves his card shop, and Ski. I mean, dude, DJ Ski is making freaking sports cards now. He's like intimately involved in Project 70. Like, the guy's living the sports card dream. He's making cards with tops. These guys just go deeper and deeper, and they just love the hobby more and more the deeper they go. So that influencers panel was extremely uplifting. Final comments here. I would describe this as a card show without the cards and without the display cases. So if that sounds terrible to you, then you would probably hate this event. If that sounds fun to you because, like, you're really a guy who's about the community and about the people, then you would love this event because there's nothing to focus on but just pretty much getting beers and sitting down and eating food and watching football, because there's a bunch of football this weekend and Monday, hanging out with hobby people. So it was nice. It was great networking. The schedule was a little rough. Many people in this industry, including Christine and myself, do not wake up in time to start a day at 7 a.m. We can't. Like, I feel like the schedule should have been pushed back. That's just I think hobby shop owners agree with that too. And finally, hobby shop owners were worried. There was some worry in the room about allocations and how's distribution going to work. And let me tell you, first of all, these hobby shop owners have a lot of clout in this industry. And, I have a feeling, I get the sense, or I have reason to believe there was a lot of networking and meeting that went on at this event to sort of start putting things in position for when momentous change in the structure of the hobby occurs. And, And also, I want to give a hat tip to Brian Gray, who, brought the other point of view. Brian Gray was far less bullish on the changes that are going on in the industry, and he thinks we're in for a tumultuous period. So, there's that point of view as well that Brian Gray had. And Brian Gray is a terrific public speaker. I was so impressed with his public speaking. He did it all off the top of his head. He was extremely good public speaker. But, he brought the pessimist point of view. He's worried that, a lot of basically his analogy was sports cards right now are in such a good place. He predicted that sports cards would be in this place 2 years ago. And he says, like, look, we have like the Mona Lisa. Sports cards right now are the Mona Lisa. And then now there's this big change happening. It's like drawing a big tree right in the center of Mona Lisa. Like, why are you changing something that's already working well? That's an age-old argument. Don't fix what isn't broken is a cliched way of putting it. So there was a well-rounded, lots of different perspectives. Overall, it was a great event. And it was interesting. So that's it. That's all I got on the summit.
I'm kind of intrigued by the sports card show without the cards because I go to National everything but the cards, which is weird because I love cards, but like those shows just like aren't optimized for my sort of tactics for buying and selling sports cards because it's like generally they don't have exactly what I want. I'm super picky. I'm a collector. It's really hard to like find what you want other than just like walking around for hours. So that sounds kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was cool, man. And we saw so many great people there. Corey from Show Your Slabs was there. Carvin obviously was there. Kelly Rangham, Big Rangs, he was there. Just so many. Leighton Sports Cards, Sarah Leighton was there. Rich Leighton. Lane, LJK Sports Cards. It was great, man. Love seeing those people. Long Island Sports Cards, Frank. It was great to see him. Sharon, Black Jaded Wolf. I agree, Carvin. We missed Cardboard Chronicles, Josh. I think we were the guinea pigs, and now maybe Josh will go next year.
Yeah, I'll go.
See that happening.
Yeah, my family is just still trying to avoid some of the public events because we do have children who are not vaccinated, so we're trying to be a little bit safe. And I'm going on vacation soon, and so we just we prefer to avoid any sickness.
Yes, George from What Are We Doing Here was in fact there, but I didn't get to see him. But he was there. Ludacris, yep, he was there too.
I was thinking about when you were talking about DJ Ski and Dan. Is it Fleischman? Did I get that right? Dan Fleischman. I feel like those guys are in like quote unquote cool segments, like being a DJ and being in like the financial sector and being in the public eye. And those guys would rather be doing cards, which is such a funny thing to say because cards have, traditionally been sort of like this, underground sort of like quote unquote nerdy thing. And for those guys who are in like these cooler segments, almost to be like jealous of us and what we have going in the card community and just like how intoxicating it is to be a part of this community is, what more do you need to know other than like these guys want to be more involved in our space? It's cool, man. It's very cool.
You know what else is nice about cards? Even though like we're dead serious about cards, we have a business filter on cards. Cards are a super light subject. It's very light-hearted.
Yeah.
You can't be too serious about it. It's silly. It's silly. It's juvenile. But these are part of the appeal. This is part of the appeal of cards. Is that it's just this childish thing.
What's there to argue about, right? There's no side. In a world of, if I say the word vaccination, people are ready to like kill me. But cards, it's like, there's no sides. There's no Republican, Democrat. There's no, black and white. It's just like, this is what it is. It's just cards. Everyone agrees that they're cool. Like, there's nothing to argue about.
Yeah. Totally.
A world of like everyone arguing over everything on Facebook. This is the escape from your job, but it's also your escape from like the annoyance of modern society where everything has to be right or wrong, or you're an idiot or you're not. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like everything's just so like divisive in society today. Everyone's got to pick a side, and cards is not that way. We all agree. Like we can even like tell as a community the fact that we as a community can fucking decide Prism Gold is best and these other ones are stupid and NTRPA is the true and these other aren't, is like, it's fucking incredible that we can just come to that conclusion without having to pick sides and flawless and optic. Like, we've made the choice, like either get on board or not, right? There's no, it's interesting. It's an interesting, like, rabbit hole to go down.
Dude, the contrast today was put in sharp relief when for a period of about 30 minutes, all the sports card guys and girls and like the video game guys and girls kind of have joined forces too, but like all of us were together in a clubhouse room talking about vaccines. Most of us were just listening. But like to see the way discourse works in that room where like they have to so strictly police the discussions and they're kicking people out and they're sending people to the audience all the time. The sports card room on Clubhouse is the most normal room on Clubhouse. It is the most pleasant room to be in. It's the best room. It's the best room to be in. And it just goes back to like cards. Like you can like at the end of the day, if you find yourself getting, cards are just little pieces of art. Like they're very fun and they're super, we're passionate about it, but you can't get too serious about it. Like that's like the secret sauce here is that they're so appealing precisely because they're not serious. Like there's this like great quote in life, take the serious things lightly and take light things seriously. We're taking the light things seriously, and that's such a good recipe, right, to like happiness. It's like cards are a light thing, we're taking it seriously. It's a very powerful, sophisticated way to enjoy your leisure time is in this space.
I was talking to Big Easy Cards. Shout out to Big Easy. I blocked him and I've since unblocked him. He's back in my good graces. He was talking to me about how like he's like, why is everyone so goddamn serious and upset all the time? We're literally all like 10x our money in the last few years, and we're doing it on a hobby we did as kids. Like, what the fuck do you have to bitch about? Like, why are people getting so upset over certain aspects of the hobby? And he's kind of right, man. It's like, what more could go perfectly right for us in this hobby? Like, we have so much to be. I see everyone joking about like onions and crying and stuff. What more do we have to be grateful about in this hobby? It's like we've been given so much. It's crazy.
No doubt. Adam, we talked about your topic a little earlier, man, about the crossover stuff. So sorry you missed it. Yeah, good points there.
Give the plug for the fucking YouTube and podcast, dude. Give the plug.
What plug? Oh,
we're gonna upload this to YouTube and this fucking podcast.
This will be reposted to my Instagram immediately after. It will be on YouTube this weekend on the Card Ladder YouTube channel, this broadcast, the replay. And it will be on all podcast platforms as well.
Oh, dude, Jay Pine just sent me down another tangent. He said, what did he say? Shoot, sorry, man. He said something about, like...
Yes, George, that's up next. And then we sing Kumbaya and hold hands.
He said something about, like, how there's too much judgment in society. That's kind of true. Like, you get judged on things in social media world a lot on, like, appearances and, how much money you have and such. And cards, it's like, it's almost like you definitely don't have to have, like, a super expensive collection to be cool, right? You can, as long as you have some sort of focus to your collection and some sort of passion behind it, people are going to notice it and think it's cool. Like, someone will think it's cool. So, like, it's a lot easier to be recognized for all different levels of collecting versus, like, normal society. It's all about, like, your status and financial, levels. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah. Shout out Jay Pine. Okay. We ready to move on?
No. Yeah, sure. As long as it's still like fun topics like this. If you ask me about Kaboom or fucking like NFTs or the market or something, I'm gonna poo-poo you.
That's funny. The next question was actually, which market do you like better for investment, NFTs or Kabooms? Nope, that's not the next. Okay. I've got some niche collector questions up next in the queue. So Collectibles Cards Clutter says, I would love to know the rhyme and reason as to why some great late 90s basketball inserts have a football version that is identical and sometimes they do not. It is odd. 96 basketball credentials looks just like 97 football credentials. PMGs look the same more or less but have different print runs. I think I answered my own question, actually. Most of the time there is no basketball counterpart because it's the style and the lingo only applies to the sport, such as that's jam and jambalaya. Kind of hard to convert that to football. So he had a question, then he kind of answered it in his own mind. But still, there's something to talk about here because...
Well, it's like, sorry to interrupt. I think Gene was talking about how they would like test things with the first sport that they launch it with, and they would kind of improve on it. So there's some of that to it as well.
Yeah, exactly right. That is the cool thing to notice. It's also something to bear in mind. Like, just because there was a basketball version doesn't mean that the same year had a football or a baseball version, and vice versa. And even if it did, it doesn't mean that they're numbered to the same. So, like the Metal Universe PMGs in football, the Reds there's 135, and the Greens are 15.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
So, like, there's minor differences there that might not be obvious. So,
Are you pumping 90s football right now, bro? I'm about to go start my fucking thinking of random 90s Tim Brown collection.
Oh, Tim Brown is a funny one to mention because he gave the keynote address. I think it was the keynote. He gave a speech.
Huh.
He gave a speech
I knew that.
at the industry summit. I used to
Carvin
love
says
I had a Tim Brown jersey. Yes.
Carvin says that also there are different product development teams and timelines. So there you go. Different people in charge of different products.
The 90s Raiders, Tim Brown, Rocket Ishmael, Napoleon Kaufman, and then later Rich Gannon joined them. That was one of my favorite teams.
And Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
Rice. That's right. Okay. Matt's Mint Cards. Thoughts on short print or super short print parallels outside of Prism and Optic that are low pop of key players like LeBron and Luka and others?
I really like Status. I don't want to. I really like Status. I know you guys. I got you into it a little bit. Status is really cool. Someone was telling me that Status prices are up quite a bit, so I don't want to pump it much more than it needs to be or whatever. That's the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't own any Status cards right now, so take that for what you want.
Yeah. I like from 2018. I like Threads. I think they have some very cool parallels too. I like Christina likes Court Kings.
Yep.
What are
Downtown?
some cool products? Yeah. Yep.
Night Moves. I like Night Moves.
That's in Don Russ.
Yep.
Don Russ Football has Night Moves inserts that Christina likes.
Someone said in the chat Spectra. I always thought the fact that the Spectra cards were thicker was kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe it's just
Spectra
like
cards look cool too, and they have cool die cuts and Nebula parallels are Spectra too.
Stupid. Spectra has some like really SSP like silvers, even like just regular silvers. Like some of their silvers are SP, and Spectra has some really cool. God, there was another Spectra thing that I'm totally blanking on, but it was like something about they had an SP card that was just like it was kind of cool to me. So Spectra is cool.
1-in-1, but that got very popular.
Yes, that one. This one's super rare, man. It's like a case hit or some shit, I think.
Yeah,
right?
This is a pop 5.
That's what I'm saying. The Spectra Silver. Look at the price, dude. Look at the price.
Okay, the 10, the PSA 10 is a pop 9.
Yeah, and it's only $3,500. The fucking base and silvers are more expensive than that shit on the Prism. Like, dude, that's a cooler looking card than Prism. That's cool, man. I like that card a lot. And they're thick, so a PSA 10 would be tough.
Yep. Those are good
The
looking
Lucky
cards.
Show says 40-ish print run. That's cool.
40? Woo.
Because those are case hits. I remember now. That silver right there is a case hit. That's what I remember.
I always liked Spectra too. People made fun of me for that a lot. I never actually bought any, but I've seen like the product open. One time we were at a card shop in Long Beach Sports Cards, and they opened up a box of football Spectra, and the guy got a Tom Brady like die cut parallel, and I was just like, this card freaking rules, man.
They're they're
I was
thick.
impressed.
They're thick, which is like, I know that you and I don't really love thick cards, but these are like, I've held a bunch of Spectra thicker cards in hand, and they're like, the quality on them feels really nice. Like they just feel really, really slick. The other one I thought of was Optic Contenders has like a preview or something. You know what I'm talking about? It says like preview on the back, and some of them are silver. Those are pretty rare. They're like SSPs. I like those too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, tell us about the hair, bro.
I try not to distract my barber because he keeps cutting this horseshoe design in my head. So I try not to distract him with any talks about cards, just so he leaves at least something up there for me. Yeah, Spectra's sweet.
Yeah, Spectra's. Stop looking at my head.
What else? Yeah, don't look up here. What else?
That's all I got. That's all.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Oh, I like this question. This is a fun question. Mike Pinkerton 50 says, who is the most powerful person in the hobby? Who are the top 5 most powerful people? So, by the way, somebody DM'd me with the best answer to this question in my I think. I don't know. I would not have been able to answer it this well.
Don't give me that one yet, but I want to hear his answer. Her answer. Can I go? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Are these in order?
I don't know. I didn't even think. I don't even know where to begin with a question like this.
Is it?
Someone said Paul Golden.
Is it specific that it's powerful and not like influential?
The word is powerful.
Powerful.
Should we get a definition of powerful? Should we get
powerful? Is in my opinion, it's someone that can like change the industry. That's how I'm taking this, at least. Someone that has like the ability to change the industry. So it's like generally going to be someone in a seat of like, you know, some sort of company where they can change. So like, just because I don't know what's going on, I'm going to say Josh Luber right now is number 1 because I don't know where that's headed. And as you and I have said, the position to control the manufacturing is so important. 2, I'll say Nat. 3, I'll say Ken. Because Ken has just like put himself in a position where he's able to be a part of a company that controls a lot of the big time auctions, but also he's a face, right? He's like put himself out there and he's become content as well. So it's a good mix. 4, you and me, and Christina as a trio, a team.
Oh,
the content, the dual powerhouse of control. We can. I got to choose my words very carefully here. We don't control the price guide. We built the price guide. It's a very important function of the hobby, and it can inform and educate people at scale. And also, we do content. The 3 of us. Selfish plug. 5. This one's gonna blow your mind. The arenas.
Okay.
I just wanted them on my list. I don't necessarily think it's the best answer because they don't work in the hobby right now. But there's I think they might be working in the hobby. They could be coming back. We're not sure. And they've got so much influence over my favorite era. I just want to put them on my list.
Good list.
You should tell Josh who I had a conversation with today on the phone.
Christina had a conversation with Gene Arena today. She would like you to know.
Yes. She's like just one of my favorite people, not just like a part of the hobby. She's just such a great person. All right, let's hear yours, and then I want to hear that person's top 5 that's so perfect.
Okay, well, I'm just going to acknowledge a few that the chat said that I wrote down. So Carvin said Adam Silver. Think about it.
Okay, yeah, licenses, I get it.
Several people said Carvin. And if you've ever seen Carvin in the context of a trade show, you'd probably agree with that. Witz says Jordan Silverberg, which Clubhouse would definitely agree with.
Who's the CEO of Fanatics?
Michael Rubin.
There you go, that dude. He should be on my list. I'd fuck that up.
Yep. Cardboard Junkie says Lamine James.
Okay. Little blend of some balance there, some cynicism. All right.
Multiple people said Ryan, Card Collector 2.
Okay. Good answer.
Yep. 75,000 followers on Instagram and a totally real and organic audience on YouTube. So that is very impressive. Rip says Shayway Vlogs. Yep. He could be sixth man off the bench. Upstate says Burbank, the Burbank team.
There you go.
That's a great choice. We saw Ryan from Burbank Sports Cards and got the chat with him. He was wearing a Card Letter shirt at the industry summits and says he uses Card Letter every day. So Ryan,
there you go.
That guy's freaking awesome. He is one of my favorite people in the hobby. And if we're going to mention Burbank, we definitely mention Bullpen, another incredible card shop, and Mitch and Ty, big-time power players in this business.
All right, do your top 5 super quick.
I don't have a top 5. I don't have a top 5. But the answer that's my top 5 most powerful people going up, baby. Okay, but the answer that was given via DM was just one answer. And
read them fast. I don't want to think about them. Just read them.
It was just it was just the buyers. The buyers are the most powerful people in the hobby.
The customer is always right, Chris.
I thought that was a very
That's such a cop-out.
no. That's a good answer. The buyer
Are there any?
is very powerful.
All right, just react to my top 5 and maybe like pick it apart of what you would have done differently. Let's just go there. Let's just talk about me, Chris, please.
Josh Huluber exists apart from this list right now, in my opinion.
Okay, he's not. So let's put Ruben first then.
Ruben is the same. Ruben and Luber are not. They don't qualify. It's like a quarterback who like throws for 500 yards and 100% completion, but he came in week 16, so he doesn't qualify for any of the statistical measures right now. Like we don't get the rank.
Patrick Mahomes did that. Mahomes did that, and guess what?
Now he ranks, but I'm saying you couldn't put him on that season's list. All right, so I'm not going to count Luber and.
You seem like the guy who, when you play games with friends, you're just like the worst. Like you're like that's not the actual rule, and it's like, oh my god, dude, we know the fucking rules.
What's that game on Parks and Rec that guy invented? Cones of Dunbar.
So much. That was like one of the best subplots of the show. Was the Cones of Dunbar. Oh, it's so good.
Oh shit! So
yes, Christina, I'm right, aren't I? Where it's like, yes, Chris, we know the fucking rules of the game are technically what you said, but the point is to have fun and not fucking get bogged down in the rules.
I put Nat number 1. Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Nat is like a cheat code because Nat is probably the most important collector. He's a tastemaker, obviously, but he has the greatest collection in the world, and that I'm aware of, and he sets the tone for all other collections. And he is something that we all as collectors can strive towards, and we will never reach it. He's very important as a collector to set the bar. And then on the business side, he's the CEO of one of the 3 or 5 most important companies in the industry, and an owner in it. And his company acquired Golden, so he has to be at the top of any list. Then Ken Golden is on that list for sure. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not good at these type of questions. So that's the only thing I would say. I put Nat at the top.
You like how I squeezed us in the top 5?
Oh yeah. We're actually number 1. Now I'm reordering my list. We're number 1. No, Christina's 1, Josh 2, me 3, Stiff Arm Wax 4, Adam Lefko 5. How about that? That's the top 5.
There's definitely people in the chat that are like, really trying to get into that top 5 list.
Oh, here's the number 1 on the top 5 list. Who's the most top 5 powerful people in the hobby? The crossover chats. That is number 1.
Who is the top 5 at making top 5 lists on the crossover?
Not me. Not me.
All right, next question. Before we hurt more feelings and or pump up people's ego too much, including myself.
Yes. Okay. Social card work. Oh, good. This is an interesting one. Not even close, Ludicrous. All right, Social Card Work says, do you have fears of those with money circling around the hobby, trying to best figure out how to monetize the collectors? My concern is that we are unwittingly becoming products for larger entities. Will the hobby cease to be organic? So, like, are you worried that there's a bunch of money in here and it's just trying to monetize all these collectors so like have organically been built up?
That goes to the question earlier.
That would be true to the name, Adam.
That's like going to the point of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Of like, we've built up this thing, and you're going to want to try to come in and screw it up by corporatizing and monopolizing all of it. It definitely has me worried, but like not really, because we still control the taste. Like, we still decide what's the Prism Gold. We, the collectors, decide everything. We are the customers. So, like, if they don't please us, we just won't fucking buy it. So, suck on that.
No doubt. All right, Josh. Josh made quick work of that question. Social card work. I think your concerns are well-founded. I think that there is a real concern that there's going to be a strong push to monetize every part about monetize every part of this industry. And you know what? Let me not sit in a glass house and throw stones, because Card Ladder is an attempt to provide a service to collectors. So we're trying to do that too. So, but maybe a differentiator there is that what's our purpose and what's our intention? And hopefully we're making the hobby a better place, and we're providing a service that's worth its price. Hopefully it's worth more than its price. But yeah, I worry about that too. I totally worry about the over-commercialization of an organic hobby and what that might do to it. I'm with you. All right, let me go on to the next question here. I believe Josh can hear the question. Cards and Candy 911 says, I just noticed I just sold a card for lower than recent comps because I needed the money ASAP. Did I ruin comps on that certain card, or should people base comps on the last 3 to 5 sales as opposed to the last sale?
That's a great question.
Cards
well,
and Candy.
We put a lot of emphasis on the last sale, which is, I'll be honest, I get direct DMs of like, that last sale sucks because it really ruins the CL value because I own one of those, and I 100% get that and empathize with it. So yeah, that's why we publish all the sales, right? It's like, yeah, go look at the last 3 to 5. Maybe we should post the average of the last 5 as well as like a separate data point.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a totally fair point. Totally fair point. There, like, I'll give you an example. That I got a DM about this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if you probably did too. I'm pulling it up on Card Ladder right now. Lefko, I saw your comment too, man. We talked about that earlier, man, but I appreciate you concisely making the point again.
I missed it.
All right, scroll up.
Okay, I got it. Just keep going. I got it.
All right, so here's the card I'm talking about. This is the 2020 Contenders. Justin Herbert. This is the team helmet variation of the card. And look, you can see that something very unnatural just happened. The card was trending up. Last sale was September 10th, and then one happened on September 12th that went super low. And so you pull open the sales history. There's a fixed price, a best offer on MySlabs. Like, MySlabs, like eBay, we're slightly less confident, but MySlabs, 7,000, we're very confident that one got paid. But then, yeah, this best offer happened. A best offer for $4,500 happened. It is the card. It's a low feedback seller, but all in all, that sale looks like it's probably happened. It was probably somebody. It might have been Cards and Candy selling the card for too low because he needed to move it quickly. And so the comp, goes from 9,500 to
I can't get over your fucking screen. It's really blowing my mind.
All right.
What do you want, a fucking phone or something?
You never knew my hands are so large. Okay.
You're like on a tablet or some shit.
No, I'm on a laptop. Okay. I'm on a laptop.
Half screen.
Half screen. That's true. I put the questions over here. All right. So, look here. The card dropped off by more than 50%. Here. Does this?
Oh my god.
The card drops off. All right. The card drops off. Okay. And so I received some messages about this that of people like, what the hell? What's going on here? And so, this is a 9-10.
People are concerned about your elephantitis or whatever. You
guys don't know this, but I actually increased in size tenfold since the last episode. I'm actually a giant now, like Paul Bunyan.
You just like
what?
You need to be careful.
Oh man, it's true. I'm 10 years old. It's fine. I can't even let you like make a good point about a card without laughing about your hand size. Hand ladder.
I'm experiencing parabolic growth on hand ladder.
Yeah, you're the card market. You're the Herbert market, dude. You're fucking 3xing in the last month. Arizona is extremely hyped over Kyler. We're still a little bit guarded about Cliff Kingsbury. Like, we're nervous he's going to fuck it up, but we are excited about Kyler Murray for sure.
Yeah. Yep. You should be excited. There's that great meme that came out this week in the hobby about the sports card investor who's like, I think he's wearing like a Josh Allen jersey, the homer, he backs into the tree, and he comes out with the Kyler jersey.
I love that. He just hits on the topic just at the perfect time with like the perfect meme, and it's why did Larry Fitzgerald have the quietest retirement of all time? Because that's who he is, man. He literally does not want any extra, more than necessary attention on himself. So the only way he knew to retire was to just like not say anything. That's his way of like retiring. Larry Fitzgerald is the GOAT for Arizona sports.
Yep. We have 5 minutes left here.
No.
I'm just always so disappointed when the show is almost over.
Yeah, because you always like abruptly end it like right at the time, and I'm so annoyed at that.
Dude, come on. You can't put comments like that in the chat, man. That's so... I don't even know what to say about that. Wow. Wow. Oh, boy.
I don't get it.
Damn, I got totally derailed. The trunk comment.
I don't get it.
Oh, I don't need to Google it. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I might need to Google that
and you're
one.
right, by the way. And you're right.
How many questions do we have left? Are they saying that Larry's got a big butt? I mean...
I'm about to Google Larry Fitzgerald trunk.
Do it and show us your giant screen.
This will make my hands look small. I'm
Is
not
it really?
showing this. This is so uncomfortable. I'm not showing this.
Do it.
I exit out the window. I don't even know. I should have never. No more reading the chat.
Did you incognito that before you searched it?
No, I didn't.
I'm not
normally searching things like this. I can't wait to see what my my ads are for the next week.
Maybe that'll be the next card. Is just like, Larry's backside, his back image. Someone upload his back image.
I know. What else does trunk mean?
I don't know. I guess I hadn't really thought about his rear end until Adam brought it up. And now I'm thinking about all the highlights I've ever watched of him running up and down the field. I'm like, oh my God, it might be true.
Oh man, once you unleash the chats, that you just can't put the chat back in.
It's like I just need to take a back seat here for a second and think about it and think about his. I need to back up. I need to reverse and just think about this some more. A butt fracture. I feel really bad for people that watch this on replay and don't have the chat because you guys are missing.
Oh,
Are we riot? Let's do Adams.
I'm not showing it, man. I already
You said they're gonna riot. They're gonna riot.
Bring on the riot. Who are your
I bet you
top 5 drunks? Oh.
I bet you the Google search for Larry Fitzgerald butt just spiked. Larry needs to back up. We all need to take a back up a little bit here, Chris, and reverse this here as much.
We just lost like 20 viewers.
Why? This is a game.
This is what you guys are here for this late at night.
People's rear ends. All right. I never thought about it, and now, God damn it, every time I see him, I'm going to be like, it's annoying. One of my favorite players now tainted.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Just hit the next question and/or show a picture.
I'm like paralyzed. Oh, Lord. All right. How do I go to a serious question after this?
Don't. Just please don't. Something about inserts or some crap.
Oh, God. Oh, boy. JJJ Gambino had one for us. He said, simulate a wrestling style battle royale of all current sports card channels.
Oh, God, what? Like a bracket? Like a 16-team bracket?
I don't know. I don't know if we need to be that precise about it. But
a battle royale, like a Royal Rumble, like we got to throw each other out of the ring kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, we got Larry on our team, so we're just gonna use all the advantages we have to wrestle the other influencers out of this ring. Best we can. We'll back them out.
We'll take Brett of Stacking Slabs as well because he knows all about wrestling.
Another great comment, cage match. I feel like Cage would do very well in these wrestling terms, given that he is a cage.
Right, no doubt.
He says Royal Rumble. He's in the chat. JJJ is in the chat. He says Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Do you know what the Royal Rumble is, Chris? Do you even wrestle?
No, I don't.
Isn't that where
Royal Rumble is like they have to throw each other out of the ring, and whoever's the last man standing wins. And they come out like in waves of one at a time. Like every 5 minutes, a new person comes out.
Okay, so size is a huge advantage here. You know.
Yes, that's true. We are both tall, so we got. I mean, hopefully Justin 6'10" is in this Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he wins. We get second. 6'10", Justin.
Yeah, but
Why do we want Brett on our team? We want Brett because he has knowledge of how wrestling works. He's not a wrestler. He just knows about wrestling.
He might be. He actually might be a wrestler.
Yeah, I would bet he's practiced wrestling moves.
Christina says he's definitely practiced wrestling moves.
You know those
Any kid who watched wrestling has done wrestling moves.
Do you remember those like wrestling pillows? Do you remember that when we were kids?
Yes.
Pillows.
You could buy like pillows, and they were like shaped like little wrestlers. Like there was a Hulk Hogan and a Sting and all those guys. I bet you Brett has a bunch of those pillows, and he's just sitting there practicing his wrestling moves on them.
Thought you were talking about stocking boppers for a second.
No, they're very specifically pillows.
Nope, don't know about those.
Next question.
Wait, go to Lefko's question.
It's directed to Josh.
Yeah.
If it came down to you, Chris, and Christina as the final three in the Royal Rumble, who would you trust to turn on the other to survive?
Oh boy, how do you answer that one correctly?
Any sort of like competition with Christina, and I'm just like jumping out of the ring. I'm scared.
Yes, I would take Christina's side there as well.
I don't know like how to answer that question. Just whatever I said, just translate that to what you want it to be.
Adam came in late tonight, but he came in strong.
I feel like Christina like would like resort to like dirty moves, like she would just immediately go to like the groin kicks and the hair pulling, and it's like, I'm out of here.
Yep.
So I grew up with there's 4 of us, right? I have 4 siblings, and whenever we got into fights, immediately whoever wasn't in the fight would yell at me, "No biting," because
yeah, I knew it. The second it started, like, you can't do X, Y, Z, and she's like, we just started. I haven't even done anything yet. Like, yeah, but we know where this is headed. So fun.
She never gets up to address the camera. She was so proud of that one. She wanted
to
sure you heard it.
I really hit a chord there with the biting and the hair pulling and groin punt. Dude, God bless you, Chris.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
That's why you got the hair. You're hiding something.
Hey now.
No, I shaved my head because I'm hiding something.
Your own shame.
Sorry, Gambino. That was not a great answer.
One more question.
All right, one more question. I have my cheeks hurt from laughing.
Nice. That was a good one. Your cheeks. Which cheeks?
Not those cheeks. Oh. These are all very serious questions.
Chris got them hurt cheeks. You really set up that one.
Oh boy. We have a very esoteric question. This question came from Blemish Gems. Double-sided cards versus cards featuring dual photos on the front.
What? I always like the backside of cards. You know what I mean? What's the question?
Double-sided cards. So, like, the front and the back are a design of a card. It's not like the back is stats. It's
okay, yeah.
Double-sided cards versus cards featuring 2 photos on the front. Like Court Masters from 97-98 has 2 photos of the player. Or maybe his question means, like, 2 different players. Because then you have, like East-West. Like the East-West card with Jordan on one side and Kobe on the other. That would be an example of front and back. And dual photo would be like 2 players on the front, like Game Breakers, I think from 97 Ultra has like Jordan and somebody on the front.
I like when all of the creativity is put on the front and the back is just all business.
Even as you can upload backside pictures.
Taking a roll call. I hear. All right, you don't have to get all excited back here. You don't have to like spend your time figuring out if this is a good-looking card or not. It's just all stats and like housekeeping stuff. Don't got to worry about anything about holofoil. No fluff. No serial numbers. Just
I'll tell you this. Larry Fitzgerald, the backside of all his cards is immaculate.
Yeah, I get it.
Let's go.
I'm never playing Life or Monopoly or like any board game with you. I could just tell. I could just tell. Like, actually, well, I read the rule book before we started, and you get exactly one extra roll, not two. It's like shut up. Everyone's like 6 beers deep. Chris is still drinking his water, like telling people the rules, and no.
Well,
He
actually,
makes up rules. It's even worse. He makes up rules. It's even worse.
Actually, this stream was supposed to end 8 minutes ago. To people who
Thank you. Yeah, exactly right. You're like, oh well, the timeline has passed on your answer, so I can't accept that, even though that it was the best answer. I can't accept it.
Morgan Hubbard said, "Yeah, I think it's time to wrap this up." Yep.
He's right.
I think he is right. I think he is right this time around.
When Chris stops looking at the screen and he's like looking away, that's when you know he's looking for an out.
I'm scrolling questions to make sure that
there's more questions. Well, give us some perspective, like by your hand. Like, give us something to go off of. Oh, there's like a ton that you didn't even get to. Drake's PC, Vintage B-Ball.
We didn't get to any of those. I told you we had the most questions I think we've ever gotten.
So quantity was an A+ this week?
Quantity was at an all-time high.
What was quality?
I don't know. I mean, you got a sample of them. I try to put the most interesting ones that try to put them in a flow. So.
What was the one that nobody asked about that was important? Nobody asked about Mastro, right?
Correct. Not one question about that.
You know why? Because they knew that our community or whatever, our commenters, they know that we shouldn't be adding to the platform that this guy's already been given. That's not what we're about. We don't do that. Oh, should we announce that we're creating our own NFTs? He can't even 2 seconds later he blows it. We're making ladder frogs. And David Owens is designing them. I can't go any further. It's such a disaster.
David Owens is spearheading this project. He is known as the NFT whisperer in the hobby.
How do you even do that? Who was the one that minted? Oh, it was Yamwax, right, Corey? Let's get Corey as our official minter, and then David can design the whatever, what it looks like. And you and I will just be the face. We'll be the Ken Goldens of it.
That's a hell of a plan there.
It can't fail, right? It's the way that I understood it. The people who create them strictly profit, and there's no risk. It's just straight profit. It's just money. Isn't that good?
It's good. I think all NFTs 10x in the first day of release. I think that was proven.
I found a Google article. I do the Google News feed thing, and one of them was it was trying to be really serious about it, but it was oh, this new up-and-coming NFT project is coming out, and it's definitely going to 10x on its IPO tomorrow. You should pay attention to it. It was some lion thing or something. It's someone that wrote this was dead serious, and when I'm reading it, I'm like, what the fuck, man? This doesn't make any sense. Who believes this stuff? Crazy.
Sounds about right. I think there's maybe a 50% chance that within 5 years we will diagnose a case of mass hysteria or group psychosis that infected us. during the peak of NFTs. There's like a 50% chance of that, I think.
So that would be like a month ago?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it could later be revealed that there was like kind of like a like a zombie apocalypse almost, where just like we all just were taken over. And
Will the peak of NFT and or Top Shot ever be reached again? Which was, Top Shot was, what was that, like April or whatever, and NFTs was 2 weeks ago. Will we ever see those peaks again?
well, like it's so funny, right? Because there's the NFT index graph that like shows how like when Steph Curry tweeted about NFTs, like the day after they crashed. Hold on, let me see if I can find that NFT index. Let's see how we're doing.
Are you Googling Larry Fitzgerald's rear end?
I already did that, or a little earlier.
Your Google search history was like, are you sure you don't want to see more of that? The day that Curry bought the Bored Ape or whatever, Yacht Ape.
Mm-hmm. That was like right around here, maybe. That's a 14-day. Here's a 30-day. So Steph Curry tweet is like here.
It's rebounding though. Look at that. The last couple days rebounding. You know what this is following, dude? It's following crypto. This is exactly what's happening. I check crypto once a day, and that graph looks almost the same as like just overall crypto.
This is 90 days on the NFT index.
Is the crypto space just like following NFTs exactly almost? Am I crazy?
Nah, I mean, look.
It's all speculation, right? It's all like 100% speculation. There's like no actual tangible use case for this stuff yet. So it's just like people are just kind of following it based on.
Well, a lot. I think in some cases you have to use crypto to buy these. So if the
100%, you idiot.
Yeah, okay. So if the purchasing power of crypto goes down, then people have less money to spend on these. So the price of these naturally should go down as well. That'd be like the value of the dollar dropping off 30% in a day. Yeah, everything's gonna be much. Your dollar doesn't go as far. You're not gonna be able to spend as much. The value of this item is gonna go down too.
That's how pure Chris is. He literally didn't know that you need Ethereum to buy NFTs. He's like, "Can you just buy it with cards?"
And when you told me that too, I just ignored it because I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me how I can buy NFTs because it doesn't even matter. I'll never buy an NFT.
Cover your ears, man.
I know.
Every time anyone drops you a tidbit, you're just like la 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 la. I freaking Dumb and Dumber over here. You're like, yeah, you just don't want to hear any of that stuff.
No, if I'm going to spend time doing something other than the stuff that I love, like cards and stuff, it'll be something else that I love. I'll read an article about the NBA or something, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll pretend to be Boris Diaw in a pickup basketball game.
Hashtag YOLO.
I'm not going to learn about NFTs.
Dude, life is short. You don't have time to fill it with pixelated zombies, right?
Pixelated zombies. Nah, but you know what, though? Here's something about NFTs. You want to know what's nice about NFTs? Is that it's also not serious. If there's any compliment that I can pay to it, is that it's utterly idiotic. And that works to its advantage because it's just like cards. It's a nice reprieve from many serious and
remember how
things in life.
You were talking about how the reason that card collectors are the ones that are being marketed this stuff so the most and so heavily is because we have like the strongest base of people who are like passionate about buying items. Shit, I lost my train of thought.
Bill Mastro said that. I'm citing Bill Mastro as my source of that quote, that NFTs are marketed sports card people because it's the most passionate group of collectors of any type of item. Any type of item. Sports card collectors got you beat. And I know.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the thing that stayed with me the most from that interview.
Also, that he didn't do anything wrong.
I think he said he probably did something wrong. I think that was the
He's like, yeah, I'll admit, I did go to prison. I did get in trouble, but lots of people go to prison, and like Sotheby's, they fucking suck too. They do the same thing. He basically accused Sotheby's of like continuing to like be doing what he was doing illegally.
Yeah, yes, he did. KPB
Tell the
cards,
people.
by the way. KPB cards has just been on fire all chat long. So you win commenter of the night. Carvin, we're in Wichita, Kansas, and we will be home in Illinois tomorrow.
You told me you were in Oklahoma.
We were earlier, and then we decided to drive about 3 more hours, so tomorrow we had to drive less. We were in Oklahoma City earlier today.
Wichita, Kansas? What is there?
A university.
Me and Christina.
And a
This hotel.
Yeah, we have a nice hotel. I would show it, but I think Christina would get awkward.
I would get awkward.
Yeah, she doesn't want me to do that.
Dude, I totally lost that train of thought. I'm trying to get it back. Hold on.
I know. It was, it felt like it was going somewhere.
You were talking about how NFTs are...
Utterly idiotic.
Yes. Remember how when that article that was like, the dumber it is, that the more idiotic it is, the more people want to buy it. It's like... And so people that are trying to like get us to buy into it... Oh, I know what it was. Remember when Top Shot was coming out? And like the number one like tagline on their marketing was, it's like cards, but better. Remember that?
Oh, I remember.
That proves it. That proves your point exactly. That's like, they're completely just trying to market to card people, even the companies themselves, because they're like, it's like cards, but you don't have to like mess with like tape and shipping and, all the stuff you hate about cards. And it's literally just the profits. And it's like, oh my God, you don't understand why we like cards. We actually like the tape and the shipping, and the profits are a part of it, but like we like all of it together. We don't just like the streamline. If someone could just like buy the card for you, grade it for you, sell it for you, and give you the profits, that wouldn't be nearly as much fun as the whole process itself.
Hell no. And it speaks to another point. One of the worst arguments to me is the one that says, well, guess what? We're all working remote now, so everything's going digital. So therefore, Josh Delvers love his supplies. And Lefko loves supplies too, actually. I remember him being like, he wanted to collect supplies. Okay.
He's obsessed with bubble wrap.
Okay, so the supplies are fine. But people who say like, oh, the world is going digital, they're like, it does not logically follow that because some things go digital, all things go digital. The next time somebody says the world's going digital, say, okay, enjoy your digital girlfriend or your digital boyfriend. Enjoy your digital meal and your digital food. Oh, those things aren't going digital? That's right. Because not everything is better when it's digital. There are plenty of things that are better when they're physical and tangible. And collectibles can definitely, an argument can be made that the physical components of collectibles makes them better than non-tangible.
Have you seen the movie Her?
No.
It's a movie about a man who falls in love with Siri.
So that's going to be like the cult classic NFT film for all these guys who think everything's going digital.
Joaquin Phoenix. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's, it's like, okay, this is
Got
clearly
you
insane. This guy,
Yeah, okay, yep.
but it's like, I understand why these NFT guys love this stuff. They just love the digital part. They just love the future. They love the digital everything.
Yeah, so here's a comment from the chat. It might not be a bad idea if you can program her right.
What, Top Shot, Top Shit, sorry, same thing. They didn't do it right? I wonder if people still collect Top Shot.
Did they ever?
I haven't heard the word Top Shot outside of you and me making fun of it in 3 months.
Only the Stroker Stang is going to come out with that comment. No, I don't hear people mention it either. It was the Beanie Babies, but compressed into 3 months.
Do you imagine that though? Like starting up a business and making just like an ungodly amount of money and like putting a bunch of resources into growing it and continuing feature work on it, even though like you've already hit the peak. Like, what do you even do with that as a business?
I don't know. Learn lessons. I don't know.
Make the next thing. Get people to jump to the next digital thing.
Yeah, I'm like,
NFTs.
I hate that I'm going to make this point 143 minutes into the show because I wish more people would have heard it. But I heard a video game guy named Nelson make a great point about this when he said the thing that worries him most about the video game market is that video games went from being $500 to being $500,000 over 36 months. And he says that type of, and it reminded me a lot of observations you've made. He said that type of growth over such a short period of time makes it impossible for people to come into the industry along the way as it's sort of slowly, organically building up. as it's slowly, organically building up, people can come in and they can join, and they're not there's no price barrier to entry, the price barrier to entry increases slowly. So you can grow the number of people who can participate, build up equity in video games over time as collectors and so forth. And because their market went from, $500 to $500,000 in 36 months, there's very, very few new people who can come into that space. Very, very few new ones. And he said that's one of the reasons why he didn't like the direction that it took, and that's why he's selling all of his video games, or most of them. And that auction ends tomorrow night, by the way, with Golden. So, and then I think about that in relation to NFTs and Top Shot. And like, yeah, I understand you want to create this marketing strategy around these all-time high prices, and it's going to get people interested if your stuff is 100xing over 2 weeks. But
they're not going to stay.
Bingo.
Yeah, that was my worry with soccer. That was my main worry with soccer, was like, I think there's something cool here, but it's going up so fast and going down so fast that like, who's gonna survive this? The people who sold and profited a ton? No, they're just gonna jump to the next thing because they made money from it and they're already out. Not the people who bought at the peak because they're gonna be pissed it went down so much. Who is gonna be excited to be in this long term? That's what made me so. It's a fucking fantastic point.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas cards, dude, literally everybody who's been involved in cards in the last like 20 years has made some amount of money and like gathered up cards they like along the way. You know what I mean? Like, who has gotten burned other than people who just jumped into base Prism during that short window?
Totally agree.
A lot of people have a lot of equity and a lot of like good times built up into cards, and I think we're just going to keep getting these infinite reboots of nostalgia and cards. Like, it's even happening to me now, where 5 years ago I want to collect the things I collected 5 years ago because it's like I have good memories of it. It's gone up since I bought it.
Yeah.
And I want to rebuy it at the new price. It's like this infinite good time.
No doubt. Yeah. Well said, Tito Raiders. That's exactly right. Just kind of sums it up right there with one word and one emoji.
Yeah, will you wrap this show up, man? I'm just getting tired.
I don't know. We have like 50 more questions here.
All right, fine. Get through them all. These things are so shiny. I don't know if you probably just go grab your copy and then let's compare.
What is that? It's like an alien card. I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's like sitting on like it's sitting next to me on the couch, and the light is over it. It's just like, God damn, it's
Dude.
bright.
That's the thing. Like the depth of the glow on
Right.
those cards. It's never been replicated by any of the retros or the reprints. I don't know how it got to be that way, but it's unreal.
As my 2-year-old daughter would say, it's very green.
Yeah.
She's like, Daddy, it's green. It's green. It is very green. That's true.
Yeah.
Does Josh let her hold it?
Do you let your daughter hold the card?
Today, she said, I hold it. And I'm like, well, yes, but like under very tight supervision. Like I'm like basically like my hands are under her hands holding it. You know what I mean? Because she does this thing. She does this thing now where if she like takes something she's not supposed to have, like she'll, like grab food off the counter or get like a marker she's not supposed to have, and we like go to get it from her. We scold her like, no, you're not supposed to have that. Her reaction is just to like throw it, like hurl it really hard. So now knowing that, if I see her grabbing one of my cards and I'm like, no, don't grab that, she's just gonna chuck it. So I have to be like very gentle and like, oh, it's okay that you have it. Hold on. I can't just like, I can't be like, no, put it down. She'll just throw it.
That's funny. That's what Christina does too.
She just chucks it. She like throws the evidence across the room.
In trouble tonight.
Chris is gonna be bald tomorrow.
A87 Stroker Stang. That's a hell of a name. Would like to know if Card Ladder is easy to use.
Yes.
I think so. I think it's pretty easy to use.
It's a lot easier to use than Market Movers.
Oh shit!
What are you shitting about?
If you tap the question mark,
Yeah.
like questions come up, and it says,
What?
Yeah, look. Like questions from stories.
What sucks in the hobby recently?
Yeah, and you could like them. I don't know what that does.
Oh, and they're like,
I've never seen this.
Yeah, and then you could see, or you could like ask something different.
oh.
Did we just figure out how to like not have Chris write these down in Notepad?
I think we did. I think yes, we did, Josh. We did.
Someone just put
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I just said.
You and I together figured this out.
Yeah. Yep.
This is new, actually.
And everyone sees how Card Ladder works now.
Are these questions you actually got?
Yep. Don't you recognize some of these?
No. Someone said I should soliloquize. Is that the right way? My love for Kaboom.
Yeah, that one didn't even make the list.
Biggest takeaway from the industry summit? Is that one of your exact questions?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How did Instagram do this?
These are okay. So I made a story, but how the hell?
I know.
Does it know?
I don't know.
How does it know that
How-
story pertains to this live?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
My mind is
I remember this one. What are signs you look for in a market being manipulated? That's a question I wanted to get to. You troglodyte.
the which
What
one?
are signs?
Oh yeah. Yep, that was a good question. It just that question was too serious for the direction that this actually went in. I wonder if I
This
could
is
like
great.
make those questions like display or something. Oh,
Dude! Are you kidding me? You just like digitized our entire show. How did you do that? You clicked it.
yeah, but the problem is these are all this is only questions that people sent through.
I think it only
The
shows
story.
to you guys though.
Yeah, but make that a new rule where like
Well, I took
it has to go.
Oh,
Let me try putting it back up.
Make that a rule where it has to go through. You have to ask your question through the story, and then we prop it up on the. We fucking put it up on the thing.
All right, hold on. Where's that one?
KPB card says hour 3 is where the magic happens.
Where we start to like plot, like learn new things.
And Refractor Jones asked, "Is there a we in Christina?"
All right, what are the signs you look for in a market being manipulated?
I don't.
Basically, like
I think
if Sports Card Investor makes a video about it, then that's the sign.
That's a good sign. So Christina, but nobody else can see the question though in the chat. Like nobody else can see it.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just you two.
Oh, well, it's good for me and Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird though that they can't see it.
Yeah. Oh, South says you can see it.
I can't see it.
Go out and come back in. Some people can and some can't.
What does this thing do? Oh, it just turns my camera around. What does this X do in the top right? Let me try that.
Okay, I can't see it, but some people can.
What great functionality. Look, you can turn the camera the other way.
Congratulations, Josh.
Oh man, what a good this app is very impressive.
The app is very impressive.
I've been turning my camera around for like a year now. You know how to turn the camera around. You used to point it at the laptop for hour one.
I'm fucking joking, bro.
I don't know, man.
I told you this guy sucks at playing games. He's just like, what do you mean? You've definitely used that feature before.
I was pretty convinced there. It's a good
No, man. That's how you know that you got a good future in comedic stand-up. If you can convince the company dingus that you're serious.
Okay, you weren't serious.
So are you gonna shave your head when you get home?
It's not a top priority, but it will happen.
Apparently it is, because someone behind you says it is.
Well, she's the one who shaves it, so.
Oh shit! Remember, it's like, oh wow, what a great! I love your haircut. Did you do it yourself? You're like, nope. That's cool though that you can do the question thing.
Yeah. So do we have an answer? I guess you already answered that one.
People can ask questions during this as well.
Yeah. So look, I guess it must have came in here. Damn it! Take me to the question.
Who is still in this live? We're just basically like, we're not even like saying anything anymore.
We're trialing and erroring.
We're basically trolling the live right now.
There you go. There's a question.
What sucks in the hobby? Losing auctions.
Losing auctions definitely is not good.
Look, and it changes to Q&A.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
And if I click this button, it turns the camera. What does this thing do? There's like little stars. I literally don't know what this does. Hold on. Oh shit. Yeah, that's annoying.
After another Truly, it'll actually look like that for John.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Oh my gosh, what is this garbage? Like filter shit? Snapchat garbage?
I look like I got sunburned.
Hey, you look like you're a like infinitely optimistic card collector. Like the sky is always blue. Wait, which one is that, dude? I want that one.
This is this card just going to the moon.
I want that one.
Well, you can't have that one.
But I want it. Just me and my vibes. My vibes. Good vibes only. Good vibes only.
Just a bunch of boomers discovering the most basic functions. Let's get the
Nice sunglasses.
Can you get rid of the question so I can see myself more? Whoa. We just discovered technology in the last 10 minutes.
Just trying to get this viewer count below 50, but they're being.
You guys are so weird. Get out of here. Can you please tell Nick to edit out the last 20 minutes of this? This is embarrassing.
Christina was impressed by this one.
I like this one.
You like?
How come we have different ones? That's what I want to know. Because you have an iPhone or something?
I can't even.
Creepy,
I can't even look at that one. Oh my God! I'm blocking you.
Whoa, what's this?
Oof, I don't like that one. Oh my God! Here, how about we do this one?
Look, I'm a dog.
I think I'm good.
Dude, I'm serious. Tell Nick to edit out the last 30 minutes of this shit. This is so
Oh
fucking
damn! I don't even know
embarrassing.
how to get that back now. I don't know how to. Oh shit! This,
There's like a million of you.
I would be very scared if I were you. Okay, here we go.
These last
I want that one.
I want to leave.
Yours are better than mine.
Someone said 2 to go. How did you know? Have you done this before? Clearly.
Dude, that one's going to make me throw up.
Yeah, I turned that one off. I might do the show in this mode from now on.
Look at this. It's just like... I feel like this is people that are really good at memes know about all this stuff, and you and I are just discovering memes right now.
You want to see the value of my collection explode?
Why don't I have that one? I have massive FOMO for that filter. Well, look at this.
This shit is kind of creepy.
It told me to open my mouth. When I put it up, it said, open your mouth.
And you just do it.
I do whatever Instagram tells me to do.
Lord. Card Collector says, after listening to so many podcasts after the fact saying the chat is the best, so I finally joined for the chat, and this is what I get. You had a good chat, but you had a good chat for 2 hours plus. Are you making that face, or is that face made for you?
I'm making that face.
Okay.
That's how convinced you are of this filter.
It's a pretty good filter. How many Trulies left? Might have to make a run.
You know how that guy sent me 3 12-packs?
Yes, nice looking cardboard, right?
I'm down to 2.
Yeah, it's gonna last 2 months.
Just kidding. I've only had 3.
Viewer count going up. That's when you know.
3 cases?
That's when you know something's wrong in this hobby when people are watching this.
You said cases, everything's in quantity of cards. That's it. My filters blow.
Yeah, yours are not good.
You have the cool 50 head one. I want that one.
I would not want to be on the other side of a live talking to somebody who just multiplied by 50.
Unless, dude, if you were to go grab one of your Luca base PSA 10s, and that'll be more accurate. Look, I just found 50 of them on the couch. All right. Dude, please end this. And seriously, tell Nick to edit out the last 30 minutes.
Perfect. We just went under 50. We just went to 49. All right. See you guys next week. Next time, drop off much earlier so we don't have to do this. See you guys.
Card Ladder, the best sports card app on the market. The future of sports cards is here. Card Ladder is the 21st century price guide and market analysis tool for sports cards. The best tools to help you track your cards. Watch the trends, stay informed, compare cards, and track the growth of your personal collection, all in one simple and intuitive platform. Join the innovators, not the imitators. The future is here. The future is now. Card Ladder.